fire burns. Prophecies written in lessons unlearned. Mythic born power from lives we once led. But why do we rise when we should be dead? We dance in the shadows, fate calls our name. Three gods are playing their infinite game. Who holds the strings? Who holds the key? The gods are watching the old school three. We're lost in the echoes, caught in the tide. Worlds keep on shifting, but we're still inside. Three brave and lost heroes, torn in two, fighting for answers they never knew. We've seen these faces, we've walked these roads, but time resets and the cycle goes. Are we the players, or are we the pawns? Trapped in the story, but still moving on. We're lost in the echoes, caught in the tide, bound to the wheel, but we stand with pride. Three brave and lost heroes, torn in two. We'll break the cycle, or see it renewed.
Hello, friends and enemies, heroes and villains. Welcome to the Old School 3 campaign. This is an ongoing campaign that's been going on for years and years and years across multiple systems, across multiple worlds, across multiple games. Welcome in everybody who is hanging out here. Hopefully you enjoyed that intro. That is our intro to the Old School 3. It tells a very close tale of what this campaign is kind of at its core. All kinds of little things happening. Right now, I am the game master of the campaign, so welcome on in, everybody. This is our most interactive of the tabletop RPG streams, where you guys can kind of chat with us, and we'll stop what we're doing and laugh at or with you guys, and hang out. And if you guys say things or interact, all the chats are on, all the sound alerts are on. So welcome on in, everybody. Thank you for being here. And of course, Zine officially first.
So I got that going on, which is nice. Zine is officially first.
Rockheim is officially not first. We do have the Tangia dungeons running, but they are muted, so you'll just have to keep an eye out for that. Happy's in here. Protomat's in here. Welcome on in, everybody. Hello, Octavius. Welcome.
Usually you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton.
Usually you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton. Hello, Rolana Halo. Welcome in. This game does have some ties to other games. It is part of the United Galarian universe. It has ties to our Stolen Souls campaign, kind of adjacently in the back. It's in the same world. Because of that, it now has ties to the Claimer's Conquest, although I don't think there's any chance of them actually causing any sort of stuff to happen with that, but all kinds of things that happen that this interacts with. So welcome on in, everybody. Hello, Yay Cats. Welcome on in. I know that there are a handful of new players and new role players here, people that are curious about role playing.
So you see that guy shows up and swings at you, and it scrapes across your armor as you cast your spell.
Cool. Mithril breastplate, bitch.
Mithril breastplate, bitch. This is how I sign all of my emails now.
Love it.
That is one of my favorite clips, so much so that I edited it like that and made it as that. But Feel free, guys, if you see fun shit that happens in these tabletop RPG streams, feel free to clip them. Of course, between the three of us, we're looking at 60-ish years of role-playing experience. Is that sad, guys? Is that sad for us to think that between the three of us, we have over 60 years?
I'm going on 38 years myself.
Right.
So I think your 60 is is fairly short.
Well, and
Like
that was Nick math. How old is the school? Yep, that's right. So between the three of us, our experiences are vast. Our knowledge is vast. So again, when I say feel free to reach out to us on Discord or wherever, ask questions. You're looking at people with more experience than a lot of people. The difference between people like us and people like Matt Mercer is just we're just not famous. That's all. That's the difference, guys.
Voice acting.
Yeah, and yeah, grumpy old men. We are pretty grumpy old men. We are. Take it back. These are the old school threes. Why are we the old school three? We've been role playing together for that long. We've played multiple games where we play ourselves. This is us playing ourselves. All of those worlds tie to this one. We have the memories of all those characters. In fact, our mythic born power comes from all of the lives we've led elsewhere. These, of course, are new lives and new experiences. And we're trying to figure out exactly why we're here. But at the same time, there's so many other things going on, so many moving parts, including gods, and as the song said, gods are watching. The old school three. Previously, if you didn't watch the previous episodes, you can feel free to jump right in and get to know the characters, get to know the things. Don't worry, that's what happens. I'm locally famous. I guess so. So previously on the old school three, Nick, Matt, and Bryan have left Carrion Hill, finally, tasked with securing the attendance of Ustalav's most influential nobles for the wedding of Sandra Heggry's politically significant wedding. Their targets included in giant cast, including the Countess Caliphvaso and the elusive Crown Prince of Ustalav himself. They chose an overland route over magic, passing through the town of Redleaf and eventually reaching the unsettling town of Illmarsh. There, the sickly-looking townsfolk with pale greenish skin and these awkward wide mouths, and eventually they find webbed fingers, set the party on edge enough that they choose to move on and abandon their plans to ship from the harbor and instead continue on foot to Thrushmoor. Thrushmoor, they have been there before. They've visited their gifted home, reconnected with Cesadia Wrentz of the Sleepens Agency, who has also been invited to the wedding. They were asked to help her find a suitable garb for the wedding. And of course, when they went home to their home in Thrushmoor, waiting for them was a peculiar gift. A box of blessed vampire teeth, a sacred offering to Pharasma meant to be used as possible currency for divine favors from the Church of Pharasma. Eventually they did take a boat, and eventually they did arrive at Caliphas. They did so aboard the same Illmarsh fishing ship that they saw earlier, making its rounds in Avalon Bay. They were, of course, awed by the city's eerie beauty and looming architecture. They then visited the Vodavani Lodge, a dual-purpose Pathfinder base and asylum. There, not only did they meet the person running it, but they also met Inquisitor Zetah Mardhalas of the Maiden's Choir Church of Pharasma, a rare cleric leader within Pharasma's church. She is known to wield tremendous influence and power within the church. The group hopes that their offering in vampire teeth has made a worthy impression upon her. Throughout these events, personal threads, of course, continue to weave both between the surface and within the individual characters. And the city has them watching. The nobles maneuvering, old fears rising, and of course the old school three now step deeper into the intrigue that is Ustalav. Is there anything that we need to add to that you two would like to add to that? Anything that might have been missed or something that I didn't mention or something that maybe is worth mentioning that I didn't think of putting in that little recap.
Every
He's
once in
a
a while, I lose.
transporter named Quinston.
Our transporter named Quinston with his portable wagon.
Yep.
So Nick has in another campaign, with completely different characters, we were all rewarded with a boon that we could have the character we played in that game be assigned to any other character in the United Galarian. I chose to assign him to Nick because I thought, hey, no one's going to expect that. And so I brought him in and I gave him this little wagon, and this with him being more of a background character there that we can utilize as carrying our shit around and catching up with us wherever we go. So that was kind of the plan of that. Rockheim has spawned a dungeon. Everybody exclamation mark joined to get in on that. So yes, we have Quinston. Anything else?
I randomly lose the memory of the previous day,
Right.
depending on the saving throw.
Yes, you realized that you were cursed. You guys did discover that you were cursed.
And recently had that removed, didn't
and
we?
you guys did remove the curse because you had
You
Thank
removed it
goodness.
by yourself
Find
with
that out.
spell canning, I believe.
Yes. Rockheim removed the curse from himself after getting help from his imp familiar,
That's right.
who is
Mhm.
now kind of hanging out and may or may not be there to help us. I also should mention that everybody was granted one NPC character from Riley's military guild that they could choose to bring with them to aid, and they each give certain little boons, which I don't have that boon list sitting here in front of me, and I should probably look for where I put that because I completely spaced bringing those rules up. But you guys should remember the basics of it is that they basically are always aiding you. You can make certain rolls, and you can also spend certain amounts of points to just know shit get out of character information. Let me see if I can find the
I have them.
listings.
Always aid another on skills that they have ranks in when they're with us. Can be used. This one can be used 3 times. Free advice or information from them. Get all the information based on the character. Like I have Jay, so his is like merchants and appraisals, criminal dealings, and negotiations. Each NPC can use their skills instead of ours. I think that's supposed to be the other way around. And then each NPC gets a bonus to all dice rolls equal to our mythic tier.
Right. And it is used theirs instead of yours. So if they have a skill that's better
we're
than
having
yours,
them do it. That's what
they
it
can
is.
just do the skill.
Yep. Yep, that is in our buffs and notes section.
Excellent. Yeah, I was trying to find where that was at. So, and I still don't find it. Did I put it in the chat? I put it in the chat, didn't I?
I wrote it down and then put it in notes. I don't remember if you had put it in chat or not.
I don't remember either. Either way, the Will Wheaton curse strikes again. Hello, Lady of Gold. Welcome on in. Thank you for joining us. So, you guys rest. Eventually, the gentleman that runs the lodge showed up. Of course, there were 2 characters that kind of run that, and one of them was Beauregard Trice, Dr. Trice. And he was the one that a couple of you, mostly Bryan and Nick, because Matt went to sleep because he had been getting up early, stayed up and chatted with and kind of got to know a little bit. And then you guys eventually did go to sleep. Matt, you wake up the next morning in the lodge. Is there anything you'd like to do in the morning before everybody else gets up?
What are, like, some lodges have like weird amenities. Does this lodge have anything special about it, or yeah, anything that as a Pathfinder be like, oh, like this is a unique display or something that like ties it in with the area that.
So it's got a lot of pictures and things like that that are kind of bent towards like the undead. A lot of research for the Pathfinders goes towards what is called the Furrows. And the Furrows is kind of like this ghost haunted wasteland that was destroyed in a war. And it's mostly just like haunts and ghosts and that type of creatures that live there. But there's a vast history that is unknown because a lot of people don't know what's in there anymore since time has passed. And so there's a lot of undead based things there, and a lot of Pathfinder researchers that are researching the Furrows and they end up going there. So there's a lot of like ghost themed photos and information and knowledge, and resources for that kind of stuff. So they have a lot of like the alchemical items that help protect for level drain, and give you bonuses to your saving throws for level drain and stuff like that ghosts would give you, are available at this particular lodge.
Okay.
There are also a lot of other things here are also associated with the history of Tarbathon, because he spent a lot of time in the area of Ustalav. He is fairly well known as the Lich King, aka, for those that don't know, the Whispering Tyrant. Spent a lot of time in Ustalav. In fact, one of his main headquarters once resided within Ustalav. So there's a lot of stuff regarding him as well. And a lot of Pathfinders are hoping to find more information on him, whether it be how to stop him or other things about him in some of these lost ruins or just hidden throughout Ustalav.
Okay. Yeah, I think I want to read up more on, well, I guess this might be metagaming. Let me tell you what my knowledge religion is.
Okay.
It is plus 12. We know there's vampires in here. I'm gonna spend a inspiration point to get a 32 plus a D6 on my roll. Do I know that vampires have a level drain attack?
Yes. I mean, in all of your lives throughout history, there has not been a world that you've been in that vampires didn't have that ability.
Cool. I would just like to kind of read up more on like ways to like combat that or help prevent it.
Okay.
Knowing that we are literally going into the vampiric hive of scum and villainy. And I think a little bit of that knowledge might go a long freaking way.
Right.
Good call.
So there are mundane means that can help protect against it, and it's the same mundane means that help with vampire level drains. I, as Nick, cannot remember what they're called off the top of my head. Maybe some of the people in chat that are part of our some of our other alchemical type games may know what they are off the top of their head or be able to grab it real quick. But yeah, there are a couple. There is stuff that works for level drain and stuff that gives you protection from level drain and ability loss and negative energy. Like literally gives you bonuses to all of those. And what they're called, I don't recall off the top of my head.
Yeah, I got the book behind me, so when we're off me, I'll go grab it. And
okay,
I'll just put that we have knowledge of these items in our notes section.
Right. Sounds good. So you research that and you get that information, and they do have those here because, as I mentioned before, with all of the things that go bump in the night that happen, specifically ghosts, that do also level drain and ability damage and negative energy damage, whether it's phantoms or ghosts or haunts. Those are all things that they know about, and they have alchemical means to help give a bonus for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I will, depending on how much they cost, probably acquire some of those as well. If there's, you said they sell them here?
Yes.
Cool. That's what I do with my early morning wake up time. That,
Okay.
and I guess, like have Tang go out and have him kind of like run around and play fetch and,
Right.
other stimulating things for a dog-sized dinosaur.
Ambrosia is one of them, as I'm looking here. Upon consumption, this heavenly elixir brewed from holy water and blessed herbs gives you a +2 sacred bonus on saving throws against negative energy, energy drain, and death effects for 1 hour. This includes saves to remove negative levels as well.
Cool.
And it affects undead and evil outsiders as holy water on top of its just natural stuff. And I think Twitch Tonic was another one. If I'm not mistaken. Sleep and paralysis in the staggered condition is what the Twitch, and unconscious and paralyzed creatures. So those are also helpful. And ambrosia costs now that I got it up somewhere here. Ambrosia, about 100 gold per. 100 gold per for that. And welcome on in, Bentley, by the way. Thank you for being with us.
And for Twitch Tonic, do you have the price up by chance?
I did. Give me a second here. That one is 45 gold pieces.
Cool. But yeah, I have some money, so I'll buy a couple of each of those.
Okay.
Just so we have them.
Sounds good. So you're reading some of the books and looking over some of the notes that they have and things that people have given. You also see that there is a somebody cleaning a couple of the other rooms near us. There is like a cleaning crew in there, like, changing laundry and folding things up, and they've got like garbage, almost like a hotel sort of situation where they're cleaning things up. And you know that when you arrived yesterday, there were some like backpacks hanging on the hooks outside of the doors of the rooms and like gear. So you're guessing whoever was there must have gotten up very earlier than you and packed up and left.
Yep. What time have Nick and Bryan been waking up? Do I know, like, do I have hours worth of time?
Normally, Nick, it depends. It depends on how much Bryan remembers. Sometimes, like, and what happens the night before, but oftentimes they're both up fairly early. Sometimes Nick will sleep in just for no reason. And yeah, it's very random. It also depends on like where you guys are, but on a good night, where you're in a place where it feels safe and comfortable, both have been known to sleep in. And you're guessing that might be the case here, unless of course there's like, hey, we need to be here exactly at this time, or a plan or something like that.
Yeah.
But but yeah. So you could have an hour, you could have 2 hours, or they might wake up before you in some cases.
Yeah, I think I'll just like order breakfast and kind of like, I went to bed early last night because we were, like, we're not traveling. We're in a place that has beds, like real beds, comfort. So yeah, I'll just like sit and have like a real breakfast and just kind of like enjoying the morning with it being, not crazy.
Yeah. yeah, they bring you some whatever they have, whatever they serve for breakfast. They serve food on both wings. There's food. It's like hard boiled eggs and hot sausage and some bread, fresh bread and butter. They send out some tea and some juice, like a pomegranate juice.
Nice.
As well.
Okay.
And
That works.
they also have some honey that they've sent. They have they have a really distinct. Ustalav is kind of known for some of its. They don't mass ship them out, but there are nobles who will get honey from Ustalav that is not cheap, and it's not easy to get because of its limited supply. You don't know much about it, but they have probably some like your tea, like you get some honey and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. I want this on everything. I want to smother this on all of the things, and you just get like a little tiny dish of it that comes with. And Bryan, you end up waking up. Is there? You get up, get dressed. I'm assuming you see Matt is outside having breakfast.
Yeah, I definitely will have I feel like a new normal man as opposed to.
It's the first time you've gotten a full night's sleep, and you actually feel like you didn't realize you were unrested, and it's not like you were getting game penalties. But this is the first time that you feel like there's not actually something wrong. You never knew that there was something wrong until now that everything is right, that you're like, oh my god, I feel like a new person.
So yeah, I'll actually have a solid breakfast, and then and kind of enjoy the fact that I'm feeling pretty good, and then maybe think about working on scribing some scrolls.
Okay. And Matt, you can see the difference.
Or continuing to work on some scrolls.
Much like he can feel the difference, you can see the difference in just his peppiness and how he looks, the way he walks and feels. Just like his presence in the room definitely seems like there was something wrong before, but you would have never really realized it until now you know.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Even like the animal, like the cat, like regards him just a little bit differently. Because he was literally cursed.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you do that. Nick eventually also gets up and comes out, and he's like, man, I was just laying there, and it was so nice because he's like, the walls are so thick that it was just silence. I don't have to worry about like monsters eating me in my sleep. I don't have to worry about stuff happening. There's other adventurers here. He's like, short of vampires coming in, which, they're going to have to get through concrete walls. I just wanted to lay there. And he sits down. He's like, just lay there in peace. And Quinston, of course, is there. Quinston's got like food, and he's running to like go and get stuff from the not the kitchen, but where they're serving the food. Like he's bringing you guys the food and helping out. Oh. And you guys also have, Andalek is there, and the other two NPCs. They're there. They're up. Mm-hmm. They're chatting as well. So if there's anything any of you feel like chatting, I know Bryan and Nick kind of chatted with all of them the night before while you were sleeping, Matt. But if there was anything. And they catch you up on some of the things that might have progressed last night. They mentioned that they met with Trice, and Trice was there chatting and asking questions about the three of us and what their goals were and what their plans were and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And Nick kind of looks at you guys and is like, so what's our plan? Now that we're here, we're set up. What is our plan?
I think,
because Nick's all about like, what's the plan? He wants to know what the plan is. A plan of attack, A, B, C, D. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, I think we were gonna have to go to the royal, have a meeting with the royal liaison Duodin.
Mm-hmm.
We know that he runs a section of the town. He works in the Bureau of Special Affairs. So maybe kind of kicking around his area to see what's going on. Um, if we can try to, I mean, he's probably going to ask us for, we scratch his back, he scratches ours. Maybe if we check through the area, we kind of maybe try to guess what he's going to ask.
Sounds good.
At least to not going completely blind.
And you guys did find out that he's basically essentially the head of the CIA for the country of Ustalav.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody really knows that, but you guys have discerned that from some of your conversations with people. And yeah, he has found out the White Shaw building is the name of the building that is kind of that office. There is a map of Caliphas on the wall. There is actually a stack of like little miniature, crude, hand-drawn portions of the map. They're like hand-drawn, like these, like almost copies of the map, and it's like a stack of them. It's very simple. It's black and white. And it's got like it's got side margins so you can put in notes and draw things because it's a Pathfinder lodge. So you come here, they expect to help you know your way around. So they literally give you a map of the town, and it's basically a black and white version of what you see on the screen there.
Okay.
So if you want to write, I think you guys have access to write on the map. If not, let me know, and we can figure out how to give that. But you do know, so you are in the bottom right-hand side, down here, which I think you guys did label. Yep, you guys did label that. So yeah, Pathfinder Lodge. It's actually on there twice. The White Shaw building, they let you know, is in the northern part, but on the inside of the wall. It's right on the corner. It's this great big building that looks like it's next to like a giant swimming pool almost.
Okay.
That is the White Shaw building. Another notable place that you guys know exists is you will see one of the largest buildings on the map is this giant white building right here.
Yes.
And you notice it kind of has 3 tiers to it and a little orb. That is literally the 3 heads of state of the boneyard. And the main section in the middle is supposed to represent the boneyards, and each wing represents a different wing of Pharasma. That is known as the Maiden's Choir. And the Maiden's Choir is the main church of Pharasma here in town. I keep seeing the lettering bounce around, and now I'm like, it's gone. Now it's gone. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Yep.
Well, I was trying to edit it, and then someone else put something in, so then I was like, okay, I'll get it out of there. And then,
Yeah, I removed mine because I saw you had yours.
And now there's none. Now there's none.
You can go add that top one, Brian.
all right.
Add the White Shaw building, and then Matt will add the Maiden's Choir.
Yeah. What font size are you using?
26.
Okay.
Provided it lets me.
Yeah, I just ran into some issues too.
Although I might shrink it just a hair here.
Let's do like 20.
Funny enough, I was thinking the same thing.
Okay.
And you can ask questions of the people working there. I mean, they are
Actually,
technically Pathfinders, even though they're working there. They're still technically
Mm-hmm.
Pathfinders who are assigned. They're kind of like the grunts of the Pathfinders. Like they're trying, or they're just trying to get into the Pathfinders. And, you know, they have to complete tasks. And there's lots of different roles to get in, whether they're doing the, what's the opening adventure? The
confirmation.
yeah, whether they're doing the confirmation or something similar. Some people just like they get work at one of the buildings and they work their way up and help the Pathfinders until they're brought in as a, you know, as a to do their first official mission.
I think, yeah, I just want to ask about rumors in the city, specifically
God,
rumors regarding Do It In.
The they say that the rumors. Well, make a diplomacy check.
Uh, 20.
So the rumors range. They tell us right up. Nobody really knows. They know he's considered a noble. They know that he is in very high esteem with the king, and he was also the advisor for the previous king, the prince. The
Mhm.
advisor to the king previously, and now the advisor to the crown prince, who does not call himself the king. He continues to just call himself the crown prince, but he is the main sovereign of the nation. Nobody really seems to know exactly what he does, but everybody of an official manner listens to what he says. Unless it's the king, they more or less listen to what he says.
Okay.
There are very few government offices that he doesn't seem to be able to I don't want to say manipulate, because he doesn't manipulate, but he doesn't have a say in what happens in any sort of official capacity. Even if he doesn't have an official capacity in some way, if he says, hey, you should probably do this, chances are, even though he has no power over a certain area, they're probably going to do it anyhow, just because he is pretty well regarded in his knowledge and what he does. And if he really wanted something to happen, he could pretty much have it happen.
Okay.
And that's just what the public knows if they know the name. Not even, there are commoners in the street who don't even know who he is. They've never even heard his name.
Yep.
So the closest they might get is the advisor to the prince. Is he officially the advisor? Maybe. Maybe not. There's the common view of him is so wide ranging that there really isn't anything to put a pinpoint on. Everything you already know sounds like it is also a rumor, according to the public eye of people, if they know who he is. Bryan, how about you?
as far as what I'm doing in the morning, or
If there's anything you'd like to ask the people that are working there, or the locals, or the others, any information you'd like about the town, if you'd like to add anything, look for things, just anything, anything you want. It's kind of your world to explore, as far as that goes.
well, Actually, I would be a little bit curious about, because knowing how some of these fantasy towns go in general,
Yes.
is that, some of the bigger buildings per se may be part of some sort of group or organization or something along those lines.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of curious about this big set of buildings over here as to what this area, this little island is all about.
Yes. So let me. I have it. That actually is a notable location.
I kind of guessed it was.
It is. Let me double checking, make sure. They're like, oh, that's, well. Go ahead and roll a diplomacy or a knowledge local, depending on which you choose to roll. Depends on what information you get and how you receive it.
I'm gonna do. I'll do knowledge local and I'll get a 21.
Okay. With a knowledge local, you kind of look and you realize that the structure of it resembles that of almost like a storage facility. But as you see, it's like it's kind of prominently held and it's kind of almost like its own little compound per
Okay.
se. And you also like you ask about it, but a lot of it is like you're writing scrolls, but you're also like looking at stuff, right? Because they have information here, and you're also like in your history because you've role played because you're Bryan, you're you, and you something in your mind goes, if I recall, Ustalav has kind of like a Smithsonian to Ustalav, like the Ustalavic Smithsonian.
Okay.
Where they kind of store, like, yes, the public can look at ancient relics and items and artifacts, but it's also like they store all these weird old vaults and all these things that might be just completely forgotten to history.
Oh, okay.
And you kind of ask about it and you realize that the people are like, not only like it's not just run by the government, it's kind of run on its own, but at the same time it's funded by all of the noble families of Ustalav, and even they don't know everything that's in there because they trust that some things, even the worst things, should remain hidden to everyone in the world, even the people that are paying for it.
Sure.
Because one, their own family secrets also reside there, and not necessarily just the good ones.
Fair. Okay.
So basically, that holds the history of Ustalav that goes back, before Tarbafan. So like, here's
okay.
family, like when if the prince dies, if they had a royal family get together and a dragon came in and ate everybody, they could trace the lineage to who the next king is.
Gotcha.
Even if the
Okay.
entire family is wiped out, they would be able to trace it down.
Okay.
If need be. Only a small fraction of what the organization holds is in that location. They have multiple locations, but even a fraction of what is at that location is shown to the public.
Well, I'll keep that option in mind if we want to go dirty.
Right.
If we want to go low, then we go there.
So stealing stuff from this place is on the menu. Mission Impossible time. I don't think so. Yeah, that would be.
Well, not so much stealing stuff as finding out the house's secrets enough to blackmail them if we go that route. But again, that's a if all else fails. That's our backup plan.
That's a mission for the 18th level characters to go in and steal shit from the Quarterfox.
That's fair.
The Quarterfowl Archives is what it's called.
That is
and
fair.
that's just what it's collectively called. Like, it doesn't have an official name. That's just what it's become known as.
Sure. Okay.
It's also a place of learning and teaching.
Okay.
So scholars and researchers and pathfinders go there a lot as well. You know, much like the Smithsonian is a place of learning.
Right, absolutely. I will I'll let when I meet up with Matt and Nick, I will let them kind of know about that.
Okay. Sounds good. And you guys are all kind of in the same handful of rooms, and you guys are passing each other and chatting with each other during this. So I'm just going to assume that at this point in time, any kind of information you guys get,
sharing it back and forth.
You're probably sharing it back and forth, or you're hearing the information at the same time. Like, Matt's asking about who's this guy and what does he do and where does he go? And Bryan, you're reading about the some of the stuff, and you're overhearing that while you're reading about the thing, and you're like, oh, what's the Quarterfowl thing? And somebody else says it, and Matt overhears that, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So if you want to add Quarterfowl, and it's the word quarter and then FAUX, one word, Archives is the name of that place. That big building that you pinged over here.
I will write it up there in just a moment.
You also find out that because Nick is asking, I'm trying to find where it's at here in my notes. It's the food place. Where's the food place? Oh, actually, no, it's not the food place. Nick asks about a place called the Majesty. Now, you guys may or may not remember the Majesty. And the Majesty is actually this giant building right here. This little rectangle. It's got a little courtyard in the middle. And the Majesty is... Oh, my notes are all messed up here. The Majesty is actually... You find out through Nick's asking that that's kind of a travel where traveling nobles go for things. Like, that's not where they go to like board their carriages, because there's a whole different place where they bring their carriages to be boarded, because there's an actual place where nobility bring their carriages and horses to be maintained, so they're not with the common folks, lesser breeds. And the Majesty, however, is basically an elite hotel for the, like, if a prince or a high noble were to come to Caliphas and they don't have lodgings at the castle, they would stay at the Majesty. So much so that it's almost like what you guys would picture as in like an indoor mall for the nobility. So like they have a tailor that is like built in. Like there is a tailor that runs a tailor business out of the Majesties specifically for the nobles, and he has storage and warehouses and that kind of stuff just built in. They have a restaurant in there for the nobility. It's part of the hotel, but it's separate. It's not like it's an inn where the inn is a hotel. It's separate. You can order food and have it delivered to your room, but for the most part, it's a built-in restaurant in the building. It is 4 stories, has over 100 rooms, themed rooms, specifically themed for people of foreign countries. So if somebody from a foreign country comes in, so say somebody from a Vodavani noble comes in, he can sit in a room that makes him feel like he's at home. It's designed by a Vodavani person for a Vodavani noble with things that reflect Vodavani lifestyles. It is very high class, very opulent, and it is exactly where you said you would get that noble dress for Cesadia from.
Mm.
Monkey swag. Damn it, I should have never told you that was a thing. Hey everyone, the old school 3 is just going to chill and lurk in the background. Thank you. Thank you, Monkey swag. Should have never told you that that's how that lurk thing worked.
That's funny.
We can thank Death's Joker for that. All because he came in and said exclamation mark lurk and then did a heart emoji and then like a heart emoji your face. And then I said, hey, heart emoji is just going to lurk. And he's like, huh. Like he's like, how the hell did that work? It's like, well, if you type a word after lurk, it's going to insert it there. So yeah, we got that going for you.
Giggity gig.
All right. So you've got a few key places you've learned about in Caliphas. I like the fact that you added those locations in white so that they're a little bit more readable. Very smart. When do you want to head out, and where do you want to go to head out?
Well, so we know that these places all, like, we have to pretty much pass by most of them if we want to get up. So I think we should first step, go to the Majesty so the dress order can be placed.
Okay.
Good call.
And then from there, go up near the White Shaw building and see what it takes to get a.
Hi, River Pupper.
We're supposed to have a meeting set.
Yeah, make sure that that's
actually there and
Okay.
is the case.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I'm assuming you take your carriage, or do you try and just walk through the city on foot? Or a combination.
Assuming probably carriage.
Yeah, I think carriage, just because of where we're going, it might make more sense to have a carriage.
Yeah. So Quinston's like, I'll get the cart going. And he heads out.
Thank you, Quinston.
The other 3 are obviously they're coming with you because that's their role, is to come with you and, help with roles and interactions and all that kind of stuff. But they're just kind of that invisible bonus in the background. So if combat were to happen, they can or cannot be involved in any of that.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Quinston pulls up the cart. You see that it is clean, just as clean as it was yesterday when you guys arrived, other than the just as clean as when you arrived yesterday, which is strange because like it's just as clean as when you arrived into port. All of the dirt and grime that happened from traveling from the port to this location is gone.
Okay.
And he grabs your whatever stuff you have and throws it, gets it all loaded up, and you guys get on in, and Nick kind of rides in the front with Quinston because with there being 6 of you and a giant fucking cat, it's easier for somebody to sit up front with Quinston in the cart / wagon. It's not quite like a super fancy carriage, but it's also like it's still a masterwork cart, right? It's a masterwork wagon essentially.
Honestly, I'd probably sit up front with Quinston then, just because with my wings, it'd be nice not to be inside.
Yeah. And so at some points, like the cat might have to walk along if you guys add any more people. Might have to walk alongside, at which case Nick's like, I should be on the outside. But right now you guys are good. Bryan sits up front. His wings don't take up as much space. The cat and the rest of you can just barely fit comfortably. You end up making it to the Majesty, and it's kind of awe-inspiring. Like some of you have seen, whether it's in movies or in real life, like the really old buildings that have been like turn of the century, like 1700s, like castles type situations, and you can only imagine what those looked like in their heyday. This is both staggeringly beautiful, very opulent, and it's handcrafted to the likes that you've only seen not in the realm of Earth. Like you've only seen something like this in the realm of whether it's Galarian or Mystara or the realms. Like this building is up there in opulence to some of the craziest things you've seen in, even in places like Waterdeep. Again, over 200 rooms. It's an ancient fantasy style mini mall that is more opulent hotel. It's like a convention center. That's a better way of putting it. This is a convention center hotel is the best way of putting it.
Okay, yeah.
A convention center for nobles.
Okay.
And in fact, the carriage pulls up and you see a carriageman actually opens the carriage for you. As soon as it stops and the carriage realizes that you're here for the Majesty, it opens your cart for you. Now, your cart is masterwork. You guys are all wearing magical gear and masterwork gear. While you are not dressed in noble's attire, you're wearing magical shit. You're wearing magical armor, magical weapons. They open the gate for you. Like,
Sweet.
Your money is probably good here. Like, there's a difference between little first level adventurers and people who have like what you are wearing and show up in a magical cart. They know the difference. So they open the cart for you and bid you welcome to the Majesty. And the front doorsman, white gloves, everything, very well dressed, comes up to you. He's like, will you be getting a room for staying, or are you just visiting? Is there an event that you're attending?
Made for a wedding.
Well, I can lead you right to the location that you'd like to go. Do you need to get anything unloaded for it?
I look towards Bryan.
I mean, we mostly carry the stuff on us, but
Okay. No, we should be good then.
Very good. You guys do remember that like she gave you a entire suit of clothing that fits her for the outfit, and of
Oh,
course
right.
the payment and the money and stuff like that. So
Right.
I just wasn't sure if Bryan would have carried that in like his bags of holding or.
I don't know either, but I just wanted to remind you.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably would have, because I know the bag of holding's relatively secure because it's on my person.
Gotcha. Welcome in, Underdeep. Thank you for joining
Okay.
us. So you go in and you see they have stands, like mannequin stands on a wall behind glass cases.
Mhm.
Glass cases. Glass isn't super, like, you don't see a lot of glass other than maybe stained glass at the super high churches. But yeah, it's a glass wall encased mannequins, and it is the some of the current fashion trends throughout the world. They literally have different nations. They have a male and a female for like 6 different nations. And they have labeled on it like, this is Cheliax. This is the epitome of current Cheliax nobility fashion. And it literally has a date of when that was kind of the in fashion, when it was last updated. And it says, for other fashions, please see our tailors.
I would like to study those fashions, for I have glamored armor
Okay.
and would love to be able to pop off some good fashion sense if needed.
Yeah, you see it. We'll say Vudrani, Chelish, Tian Sha, and Teldori fashions are some of the main ones they have listed.
Okay.
Chat
Wow, that
redeems
covers
mythic
it.
point / inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Nick gets a mythic point / inspiration. I will take it. I will take it. Nick as in Nick or Nick as in GM? Yes, is the Nick as in Nick the character or Nick as in the GM of the game?
It's a good question.
Very critical.
That is an important differential to make. Yeah.
And thank you, Bentley. Nick as the character. All right. Sounds good. Extra mythic points.
Excellent.
This is a couture campaign. Well, right now it is. Right now it is.
Dropping episodes.
Kind of, yeah. You see the door greet gentleman. He bids you adieu to see the tailor, and he goes back to his post. You see a small halfling comes up to you, very well dressed, comes up to you, and there are other people here. There is a tiefling woman who is working behind the desk. You see that there are people that are kind of like cleaning and adjusting things and measuring fabric and unloading like containers, crates of fabrics. And the halfling goes, "Yes, well, what can I do for you? Welcome in. This is the tailor shop of the Majesty. I'm the head of the house at the moment."
Yes, we actually are here to commission a outfit on behalf of a friend of ours who will be attending a very large wedding at the site of the Carrion Hill, I believe it is, in just a few days.
He's like, "Oh,
Because I know we're
yes,
kind of working at the speed of plot, but
we have plenty of work currently happening for people that are attending that wedding. We have a long list of special guests that are getting their clothing designed right here at the Majesty. Please tell me what you want." He come in, he walks over. He's like, "What kind of style would you like? Are there colors that you want? Of course, you don't want to match the bride and groom's colors. Do you know what their colors are?"
That is a great question. Do we know what the colors are?
Nick nods and goes, yeah, it's the colors of Iomade.
Ah, yes, they are.
And Nick
they
goes,
are
I don't really know what those are, but I'm sure Matt does.
There you go.
The chat
Golden
wants someone to
Crimson.
draw a fame and fortune card.
Oh! Clothing shop from hell. Monkey Swag, who is drawing a fame and fortune card? List the person who is drawing it. Matt, Nick, or Bryan.
Oh my.
Oh, for those that don't know, these are cards that come from the old second edition Mystara, which is the first time Matt and I played together. Oh, Bryan! Rolana Halo says Bryan. I'm still waiting to hear from Monkey Swag to be sure. Unless Monkey Swag was redeeming it on your behalf. But I'd still like, we still got to hear. I want to make sure it's official. These can alter the game. There's a reason it is 50,000 channel points. Because they can be character altering, as we recall from Bryan losing his memory every night.
Or sprouting wings.
Or sprouting wings.
Sprouting wings.
Sprouting
Yeah.
wings. Which I'm surprised that neither of us have gotten, Matt. We have not sprouted any wings. Monkey Swag's coin is my coin too.
I mean, she is technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. So,
Well, if I don't hear back if he is grilling, okay. Oh, did you just go and spend his points on him? Did you just go over to his computer and spend his points on him? All right, here we go.
he had points to spare.
All right. Bryan, you're going to tell me when to stop flipping. Are you ready?
I'm going to close my eyes so I can't see it. You tell me when you're starting.
I'm just going to cycle through till you say stop.
And stop.
All right. The question is, do you want the top card of this or do you want the bottom card of this?
The top card of the one pile.
Roll me 2d4 plus 6 days.
2d4. 2 and a 2. So 4 plus 6, you said?
Plus 6, yep.
So 10 days?
So you'll need to start keeping track of days, Bryan.
Shit.
Luckily for you, this may come in beneficial. The name of this card is Mental Cartography. You see, Bryan, since relieving yourself of that curse, it seems the fates have decided to make good on the poor that happened to you with all of your lost memories and all of your lost time.
Okay.
And so for the next remaining days that you have listed, you have an uncanny sense of direction. It is unerring. You remember every twist and turn of every passage traversed, every road taken. It does not work when you are asleep or unconscious, however. But you
Gotcha.
have perfect mental remembrance of any passage, journey, or travel that you have taken.
Okay.
For the specified amount of time. So congratulations and thank the one and only Monkey Swag, aka Rolana Halo in this case, for your boot. How many days was that for?
And
10 days.
All right, I'm going to keep this here, and I'm going to do my best to keep track of those days as well. All right, so suddenly throughout this passage, the route that you take, you remember. I think also remind me when you're making rolls for finding your way around town or trying to remember things in town or learning things about town. I will probably give you bonuses. That's my Canadian there. Bonuses.
A bonus.
Woohoo! Rockheim with his new power. Does he know every twist and turn now? He does. Just like the colonoscopy Octavius was offering.
Dope.
Do your next colonoscopy. Oh, he was offering to take a colonoscopy from you, Bryan. So if you ever want to give Octavius a colonoscopy, he's down.
I'm gonna say you should probably go to a professional for that. Not
I suppose he has to look at it once. So he has to watch somebody else do the colonoscopy, but the second time around, he could get it really good.
There you
go. It's like Octavius is speaking for you with that perfect Canadian accent. That's right. I love he thought about that. That's a win. He thought about it.
There's a YouTube video for everything.
We call those octapes, actually.
We can't show those though on Twitch or else you get banned.
Yeah, that's right.
So oh my goodness.
So he asks you about colors and styles and information. I'm assuming you just give him the stuff.
Yeah, I'll mention what we've got, who it's for.
Okay.
I want to say they she did give us some instructions on the style, correct?
Correct, she did.
So I give that information over as well.
Yeah, she wanted coloring and styles. She actually specified a certain style of a certain nation that she wanted and a certain representation. She was pretty detailed on all of the information that she was hoping for. So much to the point where the tailor is actually kind of getting excited because it sounds like she knows what she's talking about and not in the way that a noble would.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and both of you can roll either a diplomacy for gathering information or B, a sense motive on this situation.
I would like to do a sense motive.
Okay.
I would also like to do a sense motive.
Okay. Nick is not participating in this, so you may lose. You may not get certain information.
I will do a diplomacy.
Okay.
And I will aid Jay.
So you'll use Jay's role, and you'll be aiding him.
10,
Yeah.
22.
And what tier are we for?
Oh, right. So add 4 to that, I guess.
Are you? So the tier added is if they are rolling. Otherwise, they're just aiding you on a skill that they already have. So you would get an aid.
You would still get the 2 if you didn't have that.
So the 2 for the aid then, so 39.
All right. You got a 39 on your sense motive. So as you're having this conversation, and he's asking, he asks a lot of questions. And every once in a while he'll ask who's this for? And, that's really interesting. That's really cool that, a person from this person from Thrushmoor is, invited. Do you think that they have a personal relationship with the wedding couple? Is it an adjacent? He's asking questions, and at first you're, oh yeah, this and that, and you're answering whatever the questions are. And Bryan, you come to realize that his job, what part of his job is knowing a lot of shit that happens in noble society,
Sure.
because he talks with all of them.
Makes
You
sense.
realize that he knows a lot about this wedding. He is a tailor, and this is one of the largest weddings in a very long time for the country of Ustalav, with all these nobles. So he getting insights as to what's going on so that he can help his customers get along when they go to the party, and who's going to
Sure.
be at the party and what connections they can make at a party is very important to him. So the more information he has, the better he can help his customers.
Okay.
Matt,
Yes.
you realize that he is taking more work for, like, he is canceling other jobs that might pay more so that he can have time to work on projects for this particular wedding. Not only is he taking on these extra projects for this particular wedding, you realize that he is trying to prove himself to somebody or multiple somebodies at this wedding. Being a fashionista and a tailor and creating tailored items for this wedding in particular, he's taking personally.
Okay.
To the point where, yeah, that's about all. That's about all that you/J get from the diplomacy aspect, the information gathering during the conversation. It's not really a sense motive. You're kind of getting sense motive type information, but you're getting it from information gathering from him, and from like overhearing what he's saying and what the others are saying, and you're putting two and two together. You're kind of investigating, I guess, the situation. I like that 5th edition has the investigation skill. I really wish Pathfinder had that as a skill, because I really like that skill.
Yeah, so I guess just kind of keep that in mind, knowing that, you know, what he's looking for, and it's all about kind of like, I feel like it's like to be seen.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You've already seen where he works and who he works for, and the scope of where he stands in the hierarchy of fashion, and yet there is somebody or something to do with this wedding that he feels like he's not good enough. And he knows it. And that bothers him. And he wants to prove himself, even though you see where his station is.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that I'm going to.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys can discuss
with that.
afterwards and try and.
Yeah,
figure
but
it
I
out.
do think while I'm here, like I'm assuming they have like some like crazy weird high-end like bar in here in this establishment.
Yeah, they do.
Um,
I mean, it's not super crazy, but yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, it's someplace that like nobles drink off, something that they would have things from where some of these nobles might come from.
Right.
So while we're here, I would like to get like a good, I'm assuming Chilaxian red wine for me.
Okay.
I would like to get like a very like sweet cinnamony rummy drink, probably from Vudra for Bryan.
Okay.
And then I want to try to find like some weird tiki-ish drink,
A cocktail.
a cocktail, for Nick.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah, and so the cocktail, super simple. Like they have cocktails because this is a noble. Like it's all about the show. So it's all about the show, and it's still got to be delicious.
Yes.
So the tiki drink, super easy. Like okay, it's easy in the fashion that there's a lot of options. In fact, it's just as difficult because of the trying to pick which one to get for Nick than it is to try and go, okay, well, here's something, here's a flavored spiced rum mix that they have. Well, we have 3 of them. You can get them. They have them. Your options are limited. Cocktail drink, fancy cocktail, tiki type drink. There's a lot. There's a lot of options. So yeah, the wine is probably going to run you 100 gold.
Yep.
For their lower tier stuff. Lower tier for them.
Yep.
But that's for a full bottle. The other stuff are probably going to be a couple gold a piece.
Okay.
For the drink, or is it because you're just getting them drinks, right? Not because you're getting yourself a bottle and you're getting them actual, like, here, this is to drink now.
Yeah.
So yeah, theirs each will be like a couple gold each.
Okay.
In fact, Nick's is actually probably like 5 or 6 gold, maybe all the way up to 10 gold for his single drink, whereas Bryan's is like 2 to 3 because there's no work involved.
Yep. I will nix off I'm just gonna say like 115 gold.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, got that done. And yeah, I'll as we're kind of going through the stuff, I'll bring everybody like their drinks.
Okay.
Because like again, we're in a place where we can like get a nice thing. It's no longer trying to like ration off our Mwangi rum.
Yeah, right. Go ahead, Matt, and only Matt. Go ahead and roll yourself that diplomacy. Again, you can use Jay's in place instead of yours due to the boon.
That I will do. 20. I am rolling like garbage today.
You find out that like they do food here. Obviously, they have a restaurant here. However, while this is one of probably the top places for nobles to get food, you do hear that there are other places that have food that is better.
I mean, I guess we're here right now and we're already like have a drink.
Correct.
So I want to buy us like a nice meal.
So like you all stay for lunch?
Yeah. And so there's a reason behind this. If the dude that we're trying to get information on, the one that we're going to be going to for what the F's his name?
Do it in.
If he kind of is kind of like the spy master, the leader of the CIA, FBI, whatever 3-letter alphabet soup he's part of, he probably has somebody working in here.
Okay.
To kind of watch the goings on. So if we're, buying some nice stuff for a wedding, we're, helping the local economy, we're,
right.
Doing things like that, it might kind of at least make us start out as not unfriendly.
So there are 7 of you.
Yep.
Are you buying for all 7?
Yes. Oh, and I would have bought drinks for all 7.
Okay. So I'd say
just not really knowing what they would drink.
just nicks off 10 more gold.
Okay.
They're just excited to be here.
Yeah. And then how much for all of the food and everything?
It's going to be about 20 gold per person.
Okay. So 7 to 40, 150 or 140. So I'll just nix off another 150 total.
Okay.
If you want, Matt, you can reimburse from the group account. We got plenty of money in there.
I am fine.
Fair enough.
So
you
yeah, and I
guys-
think I want to also do like like since it's gonna cost money, I kind of want to try to like pair the foods with the drinks for the people as much as possible.
Oh, they do that.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Like they did not only pair the drinks, but they like ask you how much time you have. Because it's based on the experience of how long you have here. So if you're like, yeah, we'll be here for a few hours. So they like, you're enjoying the drinks and hanging out, and they like, okay, here's your first course. So it's
I
like
think
5 courses over the course of a couple hour to chat and hang out and get to know. I will let you guys, once again, get
Mhm.
information of whatever you'd like on the town, the area, the peoples in it. You guys can use either sense motive or any kind of a knowledge local or diplomacy to try and gather more information or get to know more stuff that you might want to know while you are here, since you're talking with the local nobles and
I
the
would
workers that are
love
working here
that.
and discussing over 3 hours of meals. So, Brian, we'll start with you. Since Matt's the one doing all of this, we'll give you the opportunity to kind of, whatever kind of information you might want to hope to get or glean, whether it's personal, whether it's for the adventure, whether it's just curiosity or storyline, whatever you'd like.
Actually, I would love to, with a little alcohol making loose lips, so to speak. I would love to just kind of be the chatty Cathy Gosper and like even ask around a little bit in terms of like, what do people think of Riley and his wife, to get a sense of, this is more just to get a general sense of how people to try to see past a little bit of the veneer of,
Yeah.
but
So-
because, especially when a little alcohol is involved, people can get chatty.
Go ahead and roll whichever skill you'd like to use, and I will try to explain it based on that. Give your answer based on that skill and where you're at, because where you're at definitely will shift what the knowledge and information you're going to get is on that particular subject.
Could I try, because I'm kind of plying people slightly with the liquor or using the liquor to help kind of entice them to gossip a little bit. Could I maybe use like a bluff, or do you think that would be leaning more towards diplomacy?
How much alcohol are you buying for other people? Because you haven't yet bought anything. It's just what Matt's been bought for the group.
Oh, I'll drop 200 gold.
All right.
We'll get them nice and lubricated, so to speak, socially lubricated.
I will let you use your bluff to manipulate the situation. Because you're having conversations about one thing with the intent of convincing them that that's not you. You're like, this isn't the information I'm looking for. You're convincing them that you're looking for other reasons. There's other reasons for your questions. So
Sure.
I will allow a bluff.
Okay.
But keep in mind, it's It's the bluff that you are rolling on getting information for.
Gotcha. Do I want to? Oh, and sorry, that should be with a +2 with Winston's help. So, and then I think I'm gonna burn a mythic power.
Okay.
So tell you what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add the 2 into this roll with the mythic power. So 42. Nice roll.
So you are kind of
Awesome.
explaining that you heard certain rumors about them and certain stories, and that some people think one way and other people think another way, which all is just a fabricated line of bullshit. But it's more to get other people talking about the subject you're asking.
Yeah.
With the alcohol imposed in there to keep them talking, they will gladly talk about whatever the fuck you want, because you just dropped 200 gold on whatever the drinks are that they want. And I mean, some of these people, like Nick's very fancy tiki drink, was like 10 gold. You just supplied 20 of those.
Sure.
So they are very happy to chat with you. Those who are here, those who are hanging out, whether they're nobles, assistants, handmaidens, right-hand men, groomsmen, whatever they are. And you find out that amongst the nobiliary, the nobility, those are all words that I'm getting wrong. Nobility is right. The nobility, that's the word. Amongst the nobility, there is a couple things, because you rolled very high. One, some of the nobility they look down on Sandra's father and herself as far as their station goes.
Okay.
Remember, he was an adventurer on behalf of the people who helped save them from the shit that goes bump in the night.
Her father was?
Her father was.
Gotcha. Okay.
Her father, who then, upon retirement, got put into the position of mayor of a city that was under collapse, that thrived under him.
So very much new money feel.
New money feel. They didn't earn their nobility, their noble status like the rest of us who have had, our 7 generations of family, noble, aristocratic people of Ustalav. There's a lot of that.
Okay.
However, a lot of the old noble families, the ones that have been here longer than everyone else, the families that have seen everything come and go and have been taught that way, they look at it a little bit differently. Whether they look at it from a amusement, like this is kind of neat to watch history unfolding in front of us, a new noble family of power that deserves it, that has earned it. You hear a lot of that as well. As for Sandra specifically, Sandra was born a noble. Her father was not, but she was.
Gotcha. Okay.
They regard her much more as a noble than him. If she had been given the point of count, a lot of the nobles would have been happier with her becoming a countess than her father becoming count. Because she is one of them. She was raised as a noble. As far as Riley goes, it's pretty universal. Especially in Ustalav. Like, he and his friends are heroes.
Okay.
They closed the world wound. They saved multiple continents, countries, places. While there are rumors of shit that they've all done, like, some people, like, he's a legend to some of them,
Sure.
Like the things that they say he has done, they're like, there is no way that is possible. The shit that he and his friends have done, those are just stories. You three have met him. You three have seen him do things. I mean, you three can do things that people wouldn't believe.
Right.
So as far as he is concerned, like, nobody's got a problem with Riley. Except for the fact that sometimes he's an idiot. Because he's not very noble or diplomatic. But as, like, he's not a noble, but he is a hero. But not in the way that Sandra's father was. He is kind of a few steps higher than that.
Okay.
Like, he was a local hero that did a lot of stuff. He didn't close no world wound. He didn't fight in, you know, at the Sicoris. He didn't go. He hasn't been to hell, right? You know, he's done shit and crazy shit, but not the shit that the other people from the Mordocks and the Cleos and that group. Like, the stuff that they've done is stuff that will be told in legends for years to come. Like, the stories of the people who fought the Whispering Tyrant is what those guys will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. They'll be a legend that people will remember forever.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's what you get just from conning them into talking about shit that, that you don't think. And they're not the wiser. They don't know, much like the tailor, when you were talking to the tailor, they've got no idea you were fishing for information.
Gotcha. Okay.
Matt. It was a lot more information than we expected, and not a thing I expected to have be a question, but there we go.
I want to talk with the nobles.
Yes.
The ones that are here, basically I want to find out, if I can, people that are like, might be getting outfits made, but don't have an invite yet.
Okay.
People that are perhaps vying to find an open arm that they can go to this as someone's +1 or plus whatever. Because that might also help us, you know, if knowing who should be there and who shouldn't, because we're also part of security.
Right.
To kind of get a feeling of how that, like, who we might want to look out for.
Okay. How would you like to go about getting that information?
So I could either just do like a diplomacy, or I could do like a knowledge nobility to try to, you know, like, talk about the tea, you know.
Yeah, I would accept
the tea
I would
amongst the
accept
nobles
both of
that are
those.
there.
Yeah, I would accept both of those. I would also accept a knowledge local, of course, but you can definitely use nobility if you would like.
I'll use nobility because, like, I've dropped points in it and I've yet to use the skill. So
you can totally use a knowledge nobility. I definitely believe that is because you know who the nobles are.
Yeah.
You know, talking about the different houses. Oh, well, I know so and so might be going, or I heard about this person. Do you think that they are worthy of the great wedding? Since we're speaking, you know, since Bryan over there is talking to it, you know, this could fit right into the conversation that you and Bryan, that Bryan was having as well, like right on top of it.
Cool. 21.
With that 21, you find out that pretty much every noble in the town of Ustalav, or in the country of Ustalav, right now, is trying to convince the other nobles that they are invited to the wedding.
Okay.
There is so much pomp and circumstance, I guess, around this particular wedding and who is invited, that everybody wants to be on that list. And some of them there are people that are like, they're honest. I wish I had an invite. I didn't get an invite. I don't have an invite. I don't even know the family. There are other people that you can tell they're just blatantly not invited. They're like, oh yeah, I've been to Carrion Hill. I've been to Riley's facility, and and they explain what it looks like, and they are so far from the truth because you've actually been there.
Mm-hmm.
That you realize that if they're minor nobles, unless they have a very specific tie-in, they are likely not invited unless they actually know them personally. There are very minor nobles that have invites because of certain ties they have, whether it be, oh, my family's grandniece works as a launderer in the for Sandra's household for 5 years when she was a young girl, and that noble family was often there to help out. Or this was the tutor, was a well-known tutor for this super minor noble family. They might be invited. Their family might be invited to the wedding. That kind of stuff.
Okay.
But because of the scope and the people of the wedding, when it comes to Ustalav, there's a lot of people that didn't get an invite just because there's not room.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people are saying that they've got an invite, or they know somebody who has an invite, or they're saying they're the +1 for some. You probably heard 4 or 5 people say that the king is thinking about asking them to be his +1, or that the Countess is going to be going, and that they're going to choose them to go with over the her nephew, or whatever the case is. There's XYZ noble is asking them to go to the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
There's rumors that there's an auction going on for wedding invites, and there's rumors that you if you want an invite, that it will cost you money and you can buy an invite. So
Okay. That's definitely something to think about. Like the fact that there are fake, there could be fake tickets up for sale.
yes.
Okay.
And it also tells you that your actual physical invites, because you were given invites for you,
Yeah.
like your actual physical invites, you probably don't want them stolen.
Yeah.
And you don't want people knowing that you're invited. Except for now, everybody thinks that everybody's invited, so maybe they just wouldn't believe you.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Your food is multiple courses. It is delicious and
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And hello, Classic Sam. Welcome on in. You enjoy some of the best food you've had in a very long time. Very well prepared. Very fancy. Sauces and toppings and sweetness with tarts and texture with opposing textures and flavors and balance. It is a lot, and it's really good. It's really good food.
So yeah, and then like I'll kind of make small talk with some of the nobles. I don't know if all of them are from Ustalav or some from visiting like dignitaries, but also just try to get them to talk about like where they're from, and like talk about like the histories of like the Vodavani and how they're all about like crazy magic and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you stay longer than the 3 hours of the meal? Because the stuff
I
you
will
guys
leave
just
that
got,
up to
because the stuff you
oh,
guys just did was over the course of those 3 hours.
Yep. I will leave that up to Bryan to see if he wants to try to figure that out. Um, if we should stay or not.
Honestly, like we got a lot of really good information. I
I agree.
kind of, almost kind of want to think like maybe we should like kind of meet back up to go over it a little bit and like maybe use it to kind of hone in on our game plan a little bit.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you guys just spent like the entirety of a couple powerful magical items just to get information and to hang out and to make a statement. And you made a statement you made.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I may need to sober up slightly too, so...
Oh yeah, go ahead and roll that fortitude save. Thanks for reminding me.
Shit. Well, is it versus Sonic? Just kidding.
But hey, you remember your way around that glass.
There you go. Let's see, so plus 11. Does Winston give me a plus 2? No, I'm just kidding.
It is not a skill.
Crap. I'm gonna spend a mythic point to bump that up.
There you go. A normal man would have been plastered, but you're the stuff of legend.
So just pleasantly buzzed?
Yeah. Pleasantly buzzed throughout the entire thing.
So then it's definitely probably good that we got out of there, because I imagine I'm just starting to get to the point where I'm trying to over-explain everything to you, Matt. Because you know how you get in that mode where you get drunk and you just try to like over-explain like everything, because it's like you want to make sure they understand you 100%, and you know you're drunk, so you know you might not be coming off solid.
Right.
Yeah. So you probably catch Bryan before he goes too much into it and goes, all right, we got to go now. And like, get me out the door before it gets too crazy.
So you guys go out, you get in the carriage. Andalek, Quinston, Jay, and Bryan, who's your guy?
Winston.
They are all in pretty good moods. Because, I mean, they yes, they work for the Riley's compound, but they don't go and hang out with him. Right? They don't like, hey, let's go out to a bar together with Riley. They don't do that. But they just went out with you guys, and you guys just dumped over $500 gold on lunch. On lunch, just lunch.
Yep.
Right.
In maybe one of the fanciest places in Ustalav. Not just in Ustalav, not just in Caliphas, but probably probably just in Galarian in general. Right? And the list of the top 25 places in the world to probably go have food. This is probably on the list. Okay, maybe top 30. The world's a big place.
Okay.
And so for them, who many haven't even left Caliphas or Ustalav, like, this might be one of the coolest days of their lives. That being said, where would you guys like to go next? The plan was to go and hit the White Shaw building and see if your meeting is still kind of set up, if that actually got set up.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to go. How busy is like traffic? As weird as that sounds.
Depending on the streets, it's really busy.
Okay.
You're looking at one of the biggest cities in Ustalav, also the capital, the current capital.
Even with the wagon or the carriage, it could take us time to kind of like let each other know what we found out.
Yeah, you can easily cover the information between where you're at and the White Shaw building.
Okay.
Good call.
So, feel free if that's something you actually want to discuss, or if you're just like, we share more information.
I'm good with just going to we share. I was kind of listening to what's going on with Bryan stuff.
And vice versa.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So you guys kind of cross meetings. I mean, you guys were all kind of in the same bar. So you guys, again, crossed a lot of T's and dotted a lot of I's in those conversations as you go through the Gothic streets. And it's quite different than the feeling you get when you were in Carrion Hill. This is very much the dark, brooding streets that you'd expect from seeing it from a distance. There is joy, there is happiness, there are people there, but it's still also like this, almost this, I don't want to say cold as in temperature wise, but it's very, the people are kind of stiff in the streets as far as their personalities go, just because it is, it's almost like a Slavic nation sort of feel. So the street vendors are very direct. The people in the streets asking for, they're fairly direct. And you get through the streets of Caliphas and you come across the White Shaw building. It sits at the corner of White Avenue and Shaw Street. And it's very generic old stone walls. There's not a lot to it. It's large, it's simple, and it's solid. It's very squat. It's a fortress. It's got like a fortress-like wall that kind of surrounds it as well. But yeah, very simple. And
Okay.
it's fairly imposing. There is somebody that stands at the door. It looks like a guard of some sort, standing at one of the entrances. And it looks like there are a few different entrances, but there's one that's obviously like the main entrance to the public.
Yeah, walk up to the garden, just inquire where we would go to check when our meeting with Royal Liaison Duoden would be taking place.
He said, I would go on in and check at the front desk there. They should be able to set you straight.
Thank you. I'm just headed.
All right, you head in. You see what amounts to an office building. There are guards all over the place. There are people that aren't obviously guards, but you guys have enough experience to know that they still work in like a guard fashion and a governmental fashion that are here. There's people that are still dressed nice. There are some nobles that you see coming and going from the building. It is quite busy inside the building. There is a front desk with multiple people working there, and they're kind of moving around interchangeably, almost kind of like a DMV sort of situation where it's like nobody really has a set place. If they leave and they're done with somebody else might just step up and help the next person. There's not necessarily, there's lines, but there's not lines. It's kind of when you get up there and you get to be your turn, it gets to be your turn. Okay. And somebody asks you, what can I help you with?
Well, yeah, just checking on the meeting schedule.
Yes.
And I'll present the
meeting schedule for which office? Who are you looking for? And what kind of times are you looking for?
Well, we have a letter from the Count of Versax. He should have sent another one as well to speak with Royal Liaison Duoden, and I'll hand out the letter.
Okay.
To set up a meeting with them.
He looks it over. He's like, he folds it up and do it in, yeah?
Yes.
And he leans over to a book and he flips open. He's like, yeah, all right, follow me. And he throws it aside and he starts walking. He walks out from behind the desk and he's like, yep, follow me, come on.
I'll look at all
And he
of you
starts
and be like,
walking like with the purpose.
Okay.
You go through multiple corridors, past the open lobby, past the secondary lobby where people are. In the secondary lobby, there's like open tables and like almost like booths that people will join in and meet in and talk in. Eventually, you go up like a couple flights of stairs to another wing of the building, and take some corridors down, and it opens up into a larger, like a sitting room, kind of like a common sized living room area. And it's fairly nice. It's got chairs and couches and tables and, some reading materials if you can read, that kind of thing sitting there. He's like, you wait here. We'll let Dude in that know that you're waiting, and we'll get you in to see him as soon as he gets a moment.
Thank you.
He nods.
Thank you.
He's like, if you guys want some water or something, there's a little basin over there. There's also a wash basin next to it if you need to wash your hands or anything.
Yeah, I'll just take the chance to wash up, then I'll get Bryan a sobering glass of water.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the 7 of you sit there. He walks off. It's not long. It's about 15 minutes before the door to the chamber opens, and you see a older man step in. And let me see if I can. What is it? Shift Z?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If
There we
it's
go.
the token, yep.
You see
yeah, okay.
that gentleman walks in. He walks in. He's like, which of you are the 3 I'm here to meet?
I'll stand up and motion to Nick and Bryan.
And he glances at you 3. You guys can all make a quick sense motive check.
$30.
I suppose I can leave him up for those watching.
$28.
In a split second, like you let him know that it's the 3 of you, right? And in that split second, he looks you over, and he kind of, it's almost like he categorizes the 3 of you, and he it's almost like he's calculating something in his mind, but it's only like a split second, because you're like, me and these 2, and he's like, you must be Matt. And he goes up to you, Matt, and shakes your hand.
Shakes
his hand, and then Bryan, he grabs your hand, but
Okay.
he grabs a little bit more steadily, and he kind of pulls you a little bit to shake your hand. He's like, you must be Bryan, and he kind of pats you on the shoulder, almost like he's checking to see if you're sober.
Okay.
And he looks over and he nods at Nick, and he's like, and that leaves you. You must be Nick. Please come into my office. We'll have a seat.
Thank you.
And he looks at the others and he's like, feel free to stay if you'd like, or they can come and meet you on the way out. It is up to you. And he just turns and walks into the room. Very direct. And Nick looks at you guys and is like, okay.
Maybe the rest of you should just stay out here for this one.
Just so you know, you still get their bonuses even though they're not in the room.
Cool.
Unless the power specifically states they have to be in the room. Because I think there's one
Okay.
where they actually have to be in the room for it. So you go in and he sits down at it's an office. It's nice. It's not plush, but it's really cool. Like, you guys are like, this is cool. This is a cool office. And he sits
Nice.
down and he pulls up a chair. He's like, please have a seat. He goes, from what I understand, you're looking to gain an audience with the Crown Prince. You're hoping to entreat him and myself to get us to come to the wedding of Lady Sandra Heggry, the daughter of Lord Vanton Heggry. Am I correct in this?
That is correct.
Yes, that is correct.
He's like, your time spent in Thrushmoor is appreciated. The work you did there to help establish that city and gain ordnance in there is very much appreciated by myself and the Crown Prince. I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. And he like sits down and he details some of the stuff you did. Like he's like, the work you did with the he doesn't stutter on the words. He goes, the work you did with the Eidolon crocodile monster was very fascinating. It was really well appreciated. Something like that shouldn't be in the world like this. And your uses of magic in luring the creature out and discovering its location was very insightful. We here in Ustalav appreciate hard workers and quick thinkers of the likes of yourself.
Happy to help where we can.
Yes.
So please entreat me to your explanation of why you would like myself and the king, or myself and the prince, to attend this wedding, and what assurances we have that it will be a safe meeting considering the incidences of the last wedding of a famed person in the city of Carrion Hill. We would hate to have the prince drowned in a pile of mud.
Out of character, was that a Mordock thing, or
It was a Mordock thing, yeah.
Well, first and foremost, there are going to be numerous protectors in the area. The forces of Riley, as well as those of the Pathfinder Society, and the guard of not only Carrion Hill, but this is Matt trying to remember, it was the militia of Count Versex was also there.
Correct.
And the militia of Count Versex. There are also some other powerful spellcasters that will be there to make sure that people without an invite are not able to get in, such as the wizard Maractus, who's a friend of Riley Savage's and his bride. And us three will also be in attendance, trying to make sure that nothing uncouth happens to those in attendance.
And he looks to you, Bryan.
I would not lie to you and say that there will be no issues whatsoever. As we know, the people in attendance are some pretty big movers and shakers in Galarian. And unfortunately, that does mean they do make a few enemies along the way. I can assure you, as far as that all arrangements that Riley and his friends and
Chat
associates.
redeems mythic point / inspiration.
Oh,
The GM point.
crap. That they are taking precautions and making sure that for such a social event, that security is paramount. That being said, While I understand your concerns, I mean these are the heroes who literally sealed the world wound twice. If I remember correctly.
They fought there and then they sealed it. And I think it's only been sealed once. But they've done other stuff there. He goes from looking at you and he glances over at Nick. Because he wants to hear from each of you. Mm-hmm. Sadly, I am, as Nick, am the game master, but Nick looks at you guys and looks at him pointedly and goes, You asked why the king should show up. I mean, this is one of the biggest weddings of the country for the country. You've got all of these nobles that are like squabbling amongst each other, and yet you have somebody here who's actually making a difference for for the nation and trying to help it, and heroes coming together. And let's be honest, they know people from all over the world, not just in this continent. Like, didn't Riley win something at like a big tournament in Tian Sha?
Ruby Phoenix. Yeah.
The amount of prestige that comes to Ustalav just from this wedding alone is worth the king showing up. In fact, it would probably look poorly upon the king if he didn't show up. At least as far as the other nations of the world go. That's Nick's 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to roll your solo diplomacy. Each of you independently. You get modifiers based on certain things you've said, and I will tell you what those are after you've rolled.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna spend another mythic point to surge that. Not that it helped a ton, but
Nick's doing it before he even gets a total, so he's just adding his mythic point.
I am going to do it as well, for this seems important. 22. My 6-sider beat out my 8-sider and my 20-sider.
Chat has redeemed a dice reroll.
Bryan gets a dice reroll.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, chat. Let me try that again.
Yeah. You can reroll your mythic point as well if you'd like.
Okay. I will take that. Thank you, chat.
That was a great use of that chat reroll. Good job, guys.
Thank you very much.
So here's the thing. There are certain things based on his personality.
Chat has redeemed a dice reroll.
Matt can also get a dice reroll.
Wow.
It is not better.
It is not better.
So you guys have to hit so many targets to bring him so far into agreeing. Now, the things you guys said automatically gives him toggles on that number. So what you're getting wasn't a bonus or a detractor to your dice rolls. It's separate. So if you just give the direct information that he is looking for, it's just a +1 on that scale. All three of you gave exactly the information as he asked it, straightforward. Like Matt, you explained who's gonna be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bryan gave his information. Nick gave his information. Bryan's delivery the fact of, I'm not going to bullshit you. Here's the honest to God's truth, gives another bonus point to his progression. Matt, name dropping people who aren't part of that core group that are powerful. So yes, the guards of Versix are going to be there, and they had guards before. The city guards are going to be there, and they had guards before. The Shadow Lodge group, they were there before. What are they going to do that's different? You mentioned an outside source of Maractus. Each person, party, or group of a major influence that you mentioned as part of attending would have been a +1. And that would have been for anyone.
Cool.
Nick, I just kind of ran an average and gave a average of kind of what you guys gave. But it also was kind of what I as Nick would have given, because there was a question that had gone unanswered. So I filled that unanswered question of why is it important for the king to be there? Listing the accomplishments of either Sandra or Riley as it means to the importance of Ustalav also increases his role, his thing. So with that, and then your rolls, you guys got 11 markers on him to convince him that it's important for the king to attend this wedding. Not only did you beat the DC, so here's what happens. If you meet the DC, he just guarantees you the king will arrive. That's it. You don't meet the king or the prince. He guarantees you the prince will show up if you meet the DC. He looks at the three of you and he says, I will set up an appointment for you to meet with the king. He will want to hear from each of you individually. I will guarantee that both he and I will be at the wedding. We will attend the wedding. It is important for the country of Ustalav. Not only is it safe, not only is it as safe as it could be as if we were hosting it, but it's potentially safer. We will likely have more trouble with the transportation from here to there than we will with the actual attendance of the wedding. Once you meet with the prince, you will also realize his demeanor. You will also realize why it's important and also difficult for him to go to a function such as this wedding. Him going is important for the reasons you stated, but it's also important because it's not a function he would normally attend.
Okay.
If the Queen of Cheliax herself invited him as a personal invite to her personal wedding, and he looks at you, Matt, and he goes, to Iomedae herself, our prince likely would still not attend. And you'll understand why once you meet him. I will schedule your meeting for 4 hours from now. You will meet him at the capital. I will meet you at the entryway. I will guide you to where he is at.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Continue the good work. And then he goes back and he pulls out a sheet of paper and he starts writing.
Okay, I guess we head out. Meet back up at the wagon.
Okay.
Yep.
You get out, like you go outside of the office and you go down, and they're like, the others are silent. They are silent until you get in the wagon. And Jay is like, so what happened?
We have a meeting with the king or with the prince in 4 hours.
And Quincy's like, well, give us the deets. Give us the deets. Tell us what happened. I mean, you met with the man himself. What was he like? What happened?
He was a
doesn't like-
lovely individual, very to the point. Definitely could tell he had a lot on his plate.
He knew about us.
Oh yeah, I
Either
guess there
from
was
what
that
we
too.
did
Yeah.
or what or what his eyes, his spies might have told us. But we just told him the truth. We didn't try to bullshit him and feed him lies. I think that would have probably gone poorly for us.
It would have. I didn't expect you guys to, so I didn't really make rules for that. But had you done it, I had to have probably added penalty points along the way. But I figured you guys would just be honest and shoot him straight. It's generally what you guys do. All right. So they're like, so we got a couple hours to kill before you get to meet with the king, is what Winston says.
Yeah. Perhaps we brush up on things about the king. Or the prince. What do and I look over at our people. Bryan, does your person head give any bonuses on things about nobles?
Knowledge history. I mean, he's got nobility at like a +8. He's pretty decent.
Oh, I was
But
thinking more of like the special abilities where we get the
history, the working class. I have listed as far as personal displays.
Matt, roll a perception.
$42. About time I roll good.
Jesus criminy. You're replaying like while you're having this conversation, you're kind of replaying the incidents in your head, just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you think about like, okay, they said this and they did this, and you get to the point where you're like, your brain kind of passes over the events, but then you get a very vivid memory that jumps in your brain of like when you were getting in the carriage, somehow you saw kind of off to your side, maybe behind you. Maybe it was after you got in the carriage and you started going off. You don't remember exactly, but you swear to God that now that you think about it, that you saw a legitimate, like a literal, full-fledged, full garb cleric of Iomade at the White Shaw building.
I'll ask if anyone else remembers seeing a cleric of Iomade at the building.
Bryan, you can roll perception if you'd like.
Sure. I'm 11.
You can also roll your NPCs if you'd like. Just let me know what their roles were.
I got an 18.
Okay. You and Nick did not see, but you also weren't looking.
Jay had an 11.
It is a 20 to remember seeing the cleric.
Okay.
Andalek. Also does not remember. Quinston also does not remember. So unless Winston does, it's just you. But I don't know if Bryan is rolling for Winston or not.
Oh, sorry. Winston only has like a +4 or so. Although
he could always roll in 16.
Well, that's true.
He
did not.
He does not. You are the only one who remembers seeing it.
Yep.
And to you, what's strange is how vivid it was in the memory, in the retelling.
Might be something we'll have to keep an eye out for in the future. And I'll look around just to see, like, they're not in here scrunched in with us, are they?
They are not. No.
Okay.
They are not. And Winston mentions, he's like, not a lot of Iobadeans in Ustalav. It's like they were kind of pushed out years ago. Like when Tarbafan did his thing, they're not around. And Pharasma kind of, once he was gone, Pharasma kind of took their hold because of all of the, well, you know, all of the undead stuff and the ghosts and all of that. Pharasma kind of took a really strong hold in Ustalav after the Whispering Tyrant left.
It does make sense.
So that's Winston's 10 cents on that. He's like,
well, hopefully, well, I guess, again, just keep your eyes peeled in case they're seen again.
Okay. So, again, you guys have like 4 hours to kill.
Yeah. I accidentally hit the X on Roll20. Give me a second.
No!
Game over.
Womp, womp, womp. While he reloads that, I think we're going to take a quick break. We're at a little past the halfway mark of the thing. So we're going to take a break, use the restroom, all of that kind of stuff. Please stick around for the continuation of tonight's game. We'll be back in just a short bit.
Doesn't look like it on our side.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that prepared. He is going to. He's gonna unload one of his most powerful spells at all of you.
Fuck.
Magic missile.
You killed.
Glad y'all caged our hootenanny. Good to see you, boss. How you enjoying yourself so far? Hey, get her another ale on me. No, get her 2 ales on me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The croaky bartender comes back and sets 2 mugs.
It is Toivo's turn. Toivo appears, closes his eyes as you explain what's going on, turns its head to look at, or to its head so it's facing the Hound of Tindalos. So Matt and Bryan, you hear the cat just growl real low and dangerous. Nick, you hear meow meow, I can smell you, meow meow meow. Roll your attacks, please.
Let's get this battle underway. We're going down. Get down, get down. Biddle-lip. Jungle boogie.
You can read that there is a contemplation about the others in the room and their responses, regardless of what his answer is.
As in, he's concerned about what his response will be because of the people in the room.
Yes.
I kill everybody else in the room.
He just side eyes you and looks at Arabella and says, of all the places you wanted to fucking teleport us, you brought us right in front of the king's nose.
Yeah, because I have to warn the fucking king. So you should probably leave. Go slink off into your little hole. And maybe warn your people.
He looks like he's about to punch you.
There is a 1,000-year-old dragon burning down a city with over 100 giants right now. I don't have time.
Remember, the only reason that any of that worked back there is because of me.
Yeah. Do you want a prize?
I am sorry, I am trying to be helping, but...
What happened to Trinia?
She just disappeared.
We lost the kid.
I am not understanding. She just got hit by one of those raisins. She disappeared. She is gone.
And Arabella said I turned to stone?
You were a statue. Welcome back.
You know what? I just give him a hug. A big chalky hug.
Okay.
This is not the time!
So you see that guy shows up and swings at you, and it scrapes across your armor as you cast your spell.
Go. Mithril breastplate, bitch.
All right, Majenko flies over. Labrisa, I've got you!
Can he do a flyby heal?
Sure.
Get out! Get out! No!
Sure, he'll go right there.
Doesn't look like it on our side.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that prepared. He is going to. Oh, he's gonna unload one of his most powerful spells at all of you.
Fuck.
Magic missile.
You killed.
Glad y'all came to our hootenanny. Good to see you, boss. How you enjoying yourself so far? Hey, get her another ale on me. Now, get her 2 ales on me.
Ew.
Oh my god.
The
Why
croaky
not?
bartender
I
comes
suppose
back
just start
and sets
drinking.
2 mugs.
It is Toivo's turn. Toivo appears, closes his eyes as you explain what's going on, turns its head to look at, or to its head so it's facing the Hound of Tyndalos. So Matt and Bryan, you hear the cat just growl real low and dangerous. Nick, you hear meow meow, I can smell you, meow meow meow. Roll your attacks, please.
Let's get this battle underway. We're going down. Get down, get down. Ba-da-da-dip. Jungle boogie.
You can read that there is a contemplation about the others in the room and their responses, regardless of what his answer is.
As in, he's concerned about what his response will be because of the people in the room.
Yes.
I kill everybody else in the room.
He just side eyes you and looks at Arabella and says, of all the places you wanted to fucking teleport us, you brought us right in front of the king's nose.
Yeah, because I have to warn the fucking king. So you should probably leave. Go slink off into your little hole. And maybe warn your people.
He looks like he's about to punch you.
There is a 1,000-year-old dragon burning down a city with over 100 giants right now. I don't have time.
Remember, the only reason that any of that worked back there is because of me.
All right, we are back. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out during that break. We are all rehydrated and unurinated and snackied up, and not necessarily in that order or because of the other.
Unurinated.
Unurinated.
That's a way to say something, I guess.
Unurinated. Yeah, we unurinated.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it wouldn't be unurinated. It's just like we have urinated, but it's unurinated. I don't know. Words is hard. So yeah, you guys have a few hours to burn, and you guys it's an open book to explore the city or go and look at stuff or ask around or whatever you'd like to do for the next few hours.
So for our knowledge, where is the castle?
The castle. That is a very good question. I believe the Castle Straith is right here. It's this big gray structure. And that is the courtyard of the structure.
I'm
not seeing you ping.
Oh,
this
I
one
just
here.
saw it. It was a little bit delayed, but I see it now.
Well, that's me pinging.
I should be
okay.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Are you on the
I'm on the GM layer.
So that would do it.
There you go. Now, do you see my ping?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent, Smithers. Excellent. All right. So that is where it is. He will meet you at the front and escort you to the king, or to the prince, I should say.
I guess on our way down, do we want to hit the Maiden's Choir?
Sure.
Sure.
We got the time to spare.
You've got.
And being a
the
church,
time.
they might have things that we might need.
Good point.
So, as you travel to the Maiden's Choir Church, which is kind of back the way you came, you find the grand visage of it is truly overwhelming. It is large and gorgeous and terrifying all at the same time. All the representations of the boneyard are there, and the cycle of life and death and balance, the balance of the universe, also represented there. Kind of paints a picture both of grand, I guess, life is, the cycle of life is, but also how you almost feel insignificant on the scope of the universe looking at this. And I say almost because you three who have lived multiple lives throughout the universe realize that you have more of a scope on how the universe exists than the most learned planar scholars. To you, you may not know all the intricate details of the cosmology of the interwoven planes and universes of Golarion. However, you see the world and universes of Golarion like a human sees a city on a map they've never been to. You see more of the map than they ever could because you've lived in so many different cities on that map that is the universe, beyond the planes, beyond the cosmology. Like, you've seen the cosmology of multiple existences, whether it's the cosmology of Faerun and their inner workings of their planes, whether it's the cosmology of the hunting ground and how it partakes to the world of the wasted west, or how the worlds of the cosmology of the vampires and mages of ancient lore in a world filled with darkness are. You are reminded of the fact that you are not native to this existence. And Pharasma likely sees that as you gaze upon what possibly could be one of the greatest temples of Pharasma in Golarion. It's not the greatest. This is not the headquarters. But when it comes to seats of power, this is one of Pharasma's strongest. And that's just your thoughts standing in front of this grand cathedral, known as the Maiden's Choir.
Okay.
As you enter in, you see worshippers, you see not clerics, but priests and nuns and devotees to Pharasma who all work for the church, doing their various tasks and chores. You see sisters and nuns and priestesses and clerics in training and inquisitors in training of various degrees milling about, all wearing the same generic decorative clothing of Pharasma, to the point where you wouldn't necessarily know one from the other if you hadn't already met a priest who is not a priest of Pharasma, a high inquisitor who is the head of this particular church that you are in, as well as other various priests and priestesses of Pharasma that you have seen in your life. You're kind of able to go, I'm pretty sure that's an inquisitor, based on the stance of their shoulders, their keen eye, how they walk, how they interact with this other person who I'm guessing has no magical prowess and is just a servant, or that person over there who might be a cleric in training or a priestess hoping to become a cleric, that kind of thing. You guys kind of, in the scope of the world, kind of can see through some of that, guys, as you're walking about in this grand cathedral. What is it that you are hoping to do or look for or ask for, or whatever you'd like to do while you are here?
I would like to get some tools, whether it be scrolls or potions, something of that nature, to help us in case we are encountered by any vampires while we are in town.
Okay. So do you just like ask one of the people that you think might be an Inquisitor to see where you would go about getting that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those would be the perfect people to reach out to.
Sounds good. They tell you that they will talk to one of the lead priestesses or inquisitors in order to help you facilitate getting that. And they kind of lead you off to another area, and they say, just wait here a moment. And they go behind some closed doors.
Okay.
And there are conversations. People see you as you come in. Matt, it's fairly obvious some of the Iomedean workings that you have about you. Bryan, not so much of the thing, but the three of you, the group of you, does kind of stand out. And amongst a church of a clergy, and one that is, I don't want to say powerful, but one that just has the people that it has and what it is they do, and the scope of sitting in Ustalav, word travels fairly quickly through the church. And you find yourself waiting longer than you thought you would for them to just get a typical, like a priestess to help you get scrolls and whatnot.
Okay.
And then you hear a commotion from down the other direction in one of the main hallway chambers. And as you glance over, you see coming out of another doorway, you see that priestess coming out, but she is following very closely behind and very like looking down at her feet and walking, not necessarily ashamed, but also almost like she's been, not that she's been reprimanded, but that she is very subservient to the woman in front of her, a woman who you, Bryan, have already met. And she comes pointed factly directly in your direction. And she comes up and stands in front of you, and she's like, she nods, just a curt nod, and very direct. She's like very penetrating eyes, and looks right at you, Bryan, and goes, "Well met. Welcome to the Maiden's Choir. I had asked my people to let me know of your arrival, as you had stated that you would be stopping by. However, this one didn't recognize you immediately upon your entry, which is a key skill that would be needed for anybody wanting to attain the skills of Inquisitor, to be able to follow simple instructions and identify people that were specifically described to you." And you can tell she's not talking to you. She's talking to you guys, but what she's saying isn't directed towards you.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can tell the person behind her is scared.
To be honest, I didn't do anything and I'm a little scared. So
right.
that seems kind of fair.
Yeah, she is very tight-lipped. She is very stern. And of course, Bryan, now this interaction for you is a bit different because now you know what her standing is amongst the church, whereas before you didn't until Matt pointed it out to you.
Gotcha.
Because remember, before you're like, why didn't you tell me who that was?
Right. That's fair. Which makes it even a bit more intimidating. Yeah.
Yeah. So she stands, and she's not a small woman. She's not large, but she has the presence of someone who is large. Even if you are taller than her, somehow it still feels like she is looking down at you.
Gotcha.
He goes, I hear that you are looking for, or I am told that you are hoping to find things to help in aids of undead exorcisms and fighting the foul beasts that aren't meant to be on this plane of existence.
Yes. I don't know about the exorcisms part, but I want to make sure
to
that
her, any death of undead is an exorcism.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure that I have mental protection. I've read stories of them looking at people and making them do their bidding, and I would like to have some protections against that.
Normally, some of our more specific instruments of fighting the vile creatures of the other world are restricted to our personal our personal clergy, I guess, is the closest word she could use. However, given your standard and the time that you have spent working and doing things on behalf of the Church of Pharasma, we will open those up to you.
Thank you.
Sisters, if they require anything, make sure that they can purchase them through the church. You should find anything you require within our means and capabilities, as far as scrolls and potions are concerned. Other magical items and whatnot is based on what we have available within the church and based on what the need of it is for. Is that understood?
Absolutely.
If you would like a tour of the facilities at any point in time, my people would be glad to show you the church. And it would not be and she looks over her shoulder at them. It would not be a standard tour that is given, but something for people of more of as if they were from another church. And they all nod. Like, there is a crowd now behind her to listen on every single syllable she says in detail.
It would be an honor.
It would. Thank you.
She nods to you. Is there anything else that you'd like to request of me while I am here?
Yes, but perhaps we could talk not out in the open.
What is your intent in saying that? Like, if she were to make a sense motive, what would she understand you're trying to say?
I want to ask her questions about a very powerful person, aka the prince.
All right.
I just have questions about a purple rain, a raspberry beret, bandits.
Now, she doesn't know specifically what you're asking, but just that, like, it's something a bit more sensitive that, like, maybe the others, I guess in this case, that maybe they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So she nods and she goes, follow me. The rest of you stay here and go about your daily chores. I will call upon you if I need you. And she walks off.
Somebody got in trouble.
You're starting to realize that, like, anybody who works here that's under her, like, she treats them all like that, whether they do good or not. Like, even if you do good, you don't do good.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement. And she takes you into one of, like, a side room that they have, like a separate chamber, and she closes the door behind her. She goes, now. And she sits down, and she goes, now, tell me about what it is you would like to ask.
We have a meeting with the prince in a few hours from now. And I have heard that he is a recluse, does not venture out much. Words were even spoken that if he were offered to go to the wedding of Queen of Cheliax and the lady Iomade, he would not attend. I am just wondering, being a person in power within his city, have you had any dealings with him? Is there anything that might help us prepare for our appointment with him and might help convince him of our needs, or I should say our wants?
He and I have similar tactics when it comes to leadership. So in that, the two of us get along very well. Sometimes I feel that he is a bit too soft on his constituents and the people he is ruling over. But that is not my place, for I am a priestess, and he is a crown prince. That's all she says.
Okay.
But other than that, I do not bother with the affairs of a state unless it is something that needs my specific attention. I have no need to waste my time with the affairs of the courts of the nobles. We have things of larger scope of life and death that we need to deal with. Their personal intrigues are not of my concern. The further I can separate myself from that, the easier it is to help hunt down those who manipulate them from beyond the scope of our cities and the underdwellings of it.
That makes sense. I guess one other question before, and I point to you two, unless you two have anything else for her, how this land is fraught with those that are enemies of your goddess, like AKA the undead. How do you go about just not bringing her divine wrath upon them when you see them? There are those that are in power. What helps you stay your hand?
Stay our hand.
So you see that guy shows up and swings at you, and it scrapes across your armor as you cast your spell.
Go mithril breastplate, bitch.
Welcome in, Toasty Toesies. Thank you for that. Hello, hello. She goes, we assign exorcism based on who we have in attendance and what the dire need of the situation is. We do not have the manpower to send out every single priestess to kill every single zombie that exists in the world of Ustalav. Much as we don't have every I personally cannot attend every let me rewind. She says, and I am but one person. There are not 30 of me to attend the archliches that pop up throughout all of Ustalav. We do what we can based on the will of Pharasma and where she guides us.
That makes sense.
But our job is to meet out the black spaces where we can allocate the work and where we are capable of doing so. To send somebody untrained into the lion's den to die means that there is a cub that we cannot slay somewhere else. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It calling to faith is new, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to come to terms with what I can and cannot do or change.
She nods. She goes, your goddess is much different than mine, and how her tenements are beyond my scope. What her teachings are her teachings, and do not concern me. I wish you the best with your faith. She says almost with disdain, but you also feel like she would do that no matter what the other religion is.
Yeah.
Sure.
She goes, well, and she stands up. I have lions to slay. Take care. And she just walks out through a back door, a different door than what you came in.
I look over at Matt. I'm like, well, I think that went well.
Nick's like, Jesus Christ. And Nick whispers, Jesus Christ, she's intense. Yeah. And he's whispering it because he's afraid she might hear him.
Yeah.
She said the prince is like her. However, he almost coddles his report up to him. But I have no idea what that will translate into.
Rolana wants to know, is she going to the wedding? No, she is not invited to the wedding. But if you want to see more of that character, she's in one of the novels. In fact.
Lovely.
Well, I think I'm going to take what I can and buy some scrolls and some potions that might help us in case we encounter any of the fucking bloodsuckers.
Yeah. So the door you guys came in through opens up. And you see just a little old lady standing there in front of you. And she smiles at you warmly and closes the door behind her. And she looks at the three of you. She goes, well, I wanted to see what the hubbub was all about. The three of you apparently have stirred up quite the gossip throughout the church.
Oh yes, someone did not recognize us, and that just caused a grotesque amount of trouble.
Oh, and she goes, oh, Mardhalas will be Mardhalas. But she goes, but she keeps my priestesses on edge and keeps their eyes sharp. And she sits down. You guys can go ahead and roll a sense motive.
I would.
I would love
Absolutely
to.
love to do that.
Da, 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 da. 35.
Oh, shit rolls. Oh, fuck. 22.
So Matt, obviously, she's a priestess, works
Yeah.
in the church. There's something about her that's very welcoming, but also this is a weird situation. Bryan, 35. This is Mardhalas' superior. This is the woman who runs the church.
Oh. Okay.
This is literally the Mother Superior.
Gotcha.
She is a completely different personality. I like how Nick is approximately a third larger in Windows scale than the players. It reflects the GM's inflated power. I think it just means that it depends on how close I am to the camera, or if I'm, further back. But it's also the camera. Sings Mother Superior jumped the gun.
I'll kind of sit up straight and be very polite and attentive. And hey. And if I can try to as subtly as I can, in
Pathfinder sign?
Pathfinder sign to Nick and Matt, I say no Blues Brothers bullshit.
So she says, I had a feeling I should come say hello to you.
Hello. Thank you.
The church, of course, sees you and welcomes you into its house. The work you've done is important. Go ahead and roll another sense motive as she is talking. There you go. She says the work you've been doing is important. The work for Pharasma is important. She goes, you need not worry so much about your past while you are here. You need not worry so much about the threats that are perceived from your pasts while you are here. She says, be at peace. Know that while the dark looms in the far corners, know that Pharasma is with you.
Thank you.
Your sense motives are high enough to know that, yes, she was talking to you guys, except for she wasn't. She was talking directly to Nick. Somehow she knows the struggles he's having with being in Ustalav right now. And the two of you give me a moment. Ah! The three of you, much less Nick, realize that she's actually referencing your other lives, and that somehow she knows. And she actually, you feel a presence of peace over you. You guys cannot be dominated by vampires for the remainder of your time working for Sandra.
No,
in Ustalav.
Write
nice.
that down.
That's cool.
And that is from there is a peace in your mind and your soul that you feel. Nick feels it more than the rest of you. Numerically, there's not a difference, but it's enough for you guys to notice that, like, it means a lot to him. And he is a little, like, emotionally overwhelmed from it. And you can tell that, like, he's trying really hard not to shed a tear. And she smiles at the three of you and just leaves.
As she leaves, she's like, "Thank you."
She continues off. You can purchase whatever items you'd like. We don't need to role play it. You can do it in between games.
Outside.
Sure.
I will also probably purchase items of the undead variety. Feel free to converse within our group chat. Maybe we'll take some stuff from the group funds as well. But that can be all done offline.
Okay.
It's 20 miles to Chicago. We have a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark outside, and we're wearing sunglasses.
There you
we're
go.
on a mission from God.
Mission from Gad.
Which is the tagline for the new pope.
Hey, there you go.
With that being said, you guys purchase your things and head out. This takes approximately an hour-ish, maybe an hour and a half to do.
Okay.
Quinston loads up the gear that you guys have purchased.
And so we have about 2-ish hours left.
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours.
What's this building? Like, it's another building that has its own wall around it.
Yeah, let me take a look and see if it is notated. Well, I don't... Let me see what that adjacent building is, because it might also say. Sometimes you never really know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, your conversations when you're purchasing stuff, you realize that her name is Mother Averis Festia. If that is something that you want to add to your
put in my notes.
personal notes. Why am I not finding that particular structure? I have it notated. Oh, there it is.
Could you repeat her name again?
Yes, Verith Thestia, Mother, Verith,
Mm-hmm.
Thestia. Thank you for the lurk, Toasty.
Cool.
That's just a. I believe that's just like a noble house.
Okay.
Some very
Damn.
rich nobles. It might be actually. Let me double check here. I don't think it is the Countess's home. I think the Countess actually resides outside of the main structure. So it's probably just a noble's home of some sort. It is not necessarily listed specifically.
Yeah, and we should get the Countess's, kind of backing, but I think we'll want to wait until after we have the kings, because I think that will be the best way to get her to.
Right.
Yeah, good
Oh,
point.
the king's going to be there.
Right. I can't seem to find the... Oh, I know. I've got multiple sheets here that say where they stay. I just wanted to see where she was. And I don't see it. It's in here somewhere, but it's a lot of shit to read, and right now it's...
Yep.
But that building, it may be a noble, but it's not somebody that you need to...
Oh, yeah, it's not like a big...
Yeah, that you need to concern yourself for. And some of the buildings that you see, like, there are structures that are here that are, like, there are buildings that might not stand out, and places that might not stand out that are things. And there might be things that do stand out that are things as well. So if there's specific types of things you're looking for as well, you can ask about them, and your companions can answer questions and help you as well. But I thought it would be a lot more fun to just discover the city as it were, instead of having a bunch of numbers on the map and you go, what's that number? What's that number?
Yep. Nope. Right. I think that's really cool.
Because they do have a numbered map that's got all the numbers on them, which I have here. So, and there are a few places that, will eventually get you guys to that are important.
Yeah. And so we know the prince doesn't go out much, but we really don't have a good...
At least the way that you understood what Duodin was saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead and have your cohorts, your companions, go ahead and have them roll either a knowledge local or a knowledge nobility. This is just for them.
Jay is going to do local.
And Winston will do nobility.
And you guys can aid them.
Cool. Jay's rolled better than every roll of mine but one. 23.
Nice.
With my aid, it would be 18.
So you guys kind of get the idea that it's not necessarily that he doesn't go out. It's more that events of poshness and like noble frivolity, frivolity, fancy things just for show aren't important to him.
Sure.
So it's not that he doesn't go out. It's that he doesn't attend certain types of events. for whatever his reasons are. And again, maybe like Duodin said, you'll understand more after talking with him.
Yep.
Sure.
And of course, after talking to Mardhalas, that gives you a little bit of insight as well, because you're like, you chat with him and her, and you're like, oh well, if some sort of part of him is like her, okay, yeah, we probably don't want her hanging out at the Riley wedding, because she can unnerve someone. She can rub someone the wrong way. Oh, somebody's doing a dungeon duel. Thank you for that, Rolana. Yeah. So you have some time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I don't want to get too far away, just knowing that if traffic does suck.
Right. You don't want to be late for something that is very important.
Yeah. I guess for those buildings that are around the Capitol, like those big ones, do any of them, like, would any of them be like a cool place to go or to try to learn? Or even just try to get gossip?
So a lot of the stuff that's right there, like, you have seen. What you haven't done is there's the big opening right next to the castle, right across from the Majesty.
Mm-hmm.
That you realize this is like this is Times Square. Or not Times Square, Central Park West, or Central Park. Like New York Central Park, like the famed Central Park. You look and you see this super well maintained, like, the nobles have spent money to make this park look fantastic. You know how the people from Duluth in Minnesota, they revere the Rose Garden in Duluth?
Yeah.
This is Ustalav's version of, this is Caliphas's Rose Garden. Or this is their shoreline, their Duluth shoreline, essentially. Whatever it's, the I forget the park there that's on the coast, that's got all the boats and stuff that come in, and the big touristy area in Duluth.
Mm-hmm.
Which apparently now I'm like, well, I'm not selling what I'm saying, because if I can't even remember what it's from, and I used to live there. But it's like it's what's that?
Canal Park.
Yeah. It's Duluth's Canal Park, but for Caliphas, it's Central Park for New York City. Park Point, yeah. So it's like that. It's like it's a tourist attraction for everybody, okay. Nobles and non-nobles. That park is a tourist attraction. Next to the building, because there's still a giant building, so you see the structure that's in that wall, and you're like, that's really cool. If you look south of that, there's the building that's about the size of the fenced-in area. The brown building that is huge right here. Like, you realize that building is larger than the Majesty.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And you do not actually know what it is. Actually, that is not true at all. Winston, if you ask, hey, what's that giant building over there?
Yeah.
Winston will look directly at you, Bryan, and Winston would be like, I don't know if I should give you sarcasm or not. Winston says, I understand I'm starting to learn your group's dynamic, and I feel like sarcasm would be appropriate here. And he looks at you, Bryan, and goes, you definitely would not be interested in that place.
Okay.
And Jay face palms. Jay literally face palms. Because Winston is really bad at sarcasm. Like, he's great, diplomatic, great when it comes to nobles. Common shit, no. So him trying to give you sarcasm, and it's like, it didn't come off as sarcasm. Jay knows it didn't come off as sarcasm. Had he not told you that he was going to be sarcastic, you wouldn't have known he was sarcastic.
Gotcha.
And Jay just looks at you and goes, that's the Palace of Voices.
What does that mean?
Winston realizes the faux pas he's made. And Winston goes, well, that's the Royal Theatre and Opera House of Ustalav.
Oh.
I'm assuming we don't have time for a show, but perhaps after meeting with the prince?
Maybe.
We could see if we could get you an invite to the show.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
It's like, and Winston goes, the drama of the brother and sister who runs it is fascinating.
Really?
Well, they both inherited it, and they both loved the theater, but both of them believe it should be run in two completely different ways, and they can't agree with one another since their parents passed away and left it to them.
Interesting.
And so while they are the owners, the person who conducts and runs all the shows is kind of actually the one that ends up being in charge, because the other two can't agree on anything. So he just does it all himself. And they just let him do it because they can't agree.
Interesting.
Very.
So yeah, you guys, then those are close to the castle. There's other stuff, but nothing that really stands out. Nothing that's just like, hey, this is right here. There's still businesses, so you can go shopping. You can go looking for stuff. There is other inns and stuff like that, but based on what you guys know, what you guys have seen, a lot of the other stuff, unless you're looking to shop or you're looking for something specific, there's other, like, why see an inn? You were just at the Majesty.
Yeah.
So
I think, tourist traps are traps for a reason. Let's go look at the tourist trap.
Okay. And it's a park, so you can stay there as much as you want, and it's literally part of the castle.
Yeah.
And it's open to the public.
Sounds good.
You guys visit the park, which I think I'm missing a sheet. I think that's why I'm missing the one piece of information that I couldn't seem to find. So let's hope that piece isn't on the sheet that I'm missing. Because then I have to go off of memory. Restoration Park. In the shadow of Castle Strythe sprawls the fastidiously manicured gardens and lawns of the city's largest and most famous park. Oh, that's why. Oh, right. I have a whole nother write-up on it. So The park houses nobles. It houses commoners. It houses merchants. It in fact has tourists, like groups that come through and have a professional person talking about the flora and fauna of the landscape. That you can like pay to go on the tour and hear tales about the castle, why the castle was made, how the structure was done, how the parks were done, the organization, how they did all of that. That is all a paid tour. Do you take the paid tour, or do you just kind of self-guided tour?
Let's take the paid tour.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
So the park, which stands in the shadow of the castle. The castle was specifically when it was brought up years ago that the capital of Ustalav would get moved to Caliphas. The Countess Caliphvaso specifically used their family's money to build the castle for the king, to move the capital here. Something that was awe-inspiring and terrifying and represented all of Ustalav in its grand nature, in its opulescence, one of the greatest structures that Ustalav has ever created in Castle Straith. Rumors of its reasoning for its location, the design of its architecture are wildly and vastly rumored amongst commoners and nobles alike. From the point of view that it is there to hold the Whispering Tyrant in place underneath the city itself, to the fact that it has secret corridors and passages that go throughout the city and connect to Ustalav, that it has magical portals that can bring you to other planes and worlds and countries, run the scope, that it is designed to call upon beings from the stars above, are all rumors based on its architecture and design. However, the truth of it is in a formidable, defendable location. Its estate is designed to both be easily remembered by locals and confusing to people who might try to invade. The plants and structures were designed to house a large number of plants from throughout the world, whether it's within greenhouses or not. Depending on certain times of year, some of the locations can be covered and protected during the long winter months or during the wet or hot seasons to protect certain plants. There are some plants that survive very well during the winter and in fact thrive and make this a key place to go during the deep winter Ustalavic winters, because there are flowers that flower in the deep winters that come from the realm of the Mammoth Lords. Giant flowers, in fact. The druid who was brought in to oversee this place has gone from working day shifts to trying to avoid people, and now tends to come out at night to look over the gardens and watch over them and take care of them and trim them and prune them and leave instructions for the workers during the day. Because as druids are, they don't do well with people. And being trapped in the dead center of a city is crazy. Matt, roll a sense motive on Nick.
Okay. $37.
You recall a city that you guys grew from nothing. It was a town that you grew into a thriving metropolis. And you remember a person you've re-met recently, a noble fae, who Nick has come to reconnect, who somehow has ties to multiple existences, and remembers your past. It is now that you remember that Nick built a home in the middle of a city park so that she could live with nature.
Mm.
And that, in fact, his good intent was more of a prison than
She
a
couldn't leave.
than a place for them to be happy. And they only stayed there because he wanted her to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But it in fact felt more like a prison than anything. You know that this story makes Nick wonder and makes him reflect on that and brings him back again, probably, to the vampire tales because of the vampire that killed her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Killed her specifically because she couldn't leave the area of nature that she was trapped in.
And I'm just saying, like, this is going to be a fun tour.
However, the blessing from the Mother Superior, yes, Nick remembers that. Nick thinks about that. Nick understands the consequences of that. He feels the direct connection of how this kind of reminds him of that. But he also understands that that was in the past and that he was probably forgiven, or that he was forgiven, and that it was a learning moment, and he is at peace about it. Thank you, Mother Superior, for that blessing.
Nice. Okay.
If you have any further questions, if you want to know more, you realize the best time would be to come when the druid is caretaking the grounds.
Yeah, which is at night. Yeah, so I guess, like, maybe depending on how long it takes with the prince.
Yeah. But yeah, the grounds are beautiful. Everything is gorgeous. Things are fantastic. It is really gorgeous beyond a lot of places that you've seen and grounds that you have seen. Like, this is an opulent garden the size of, the capital castle, which takes up multiple city blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and by that point in time, it is time to meet with the prince.
Cool.
You approach Castle Straith as it horrendously looms over the city. And you see Duadin on the front steps, waiting very patiently, ahead of time, because you guys are there early. And he is also there early, awaiting your arrival.
He's there early because if we're on time, that means we're late, because he's one of those motherfuckers.
He says, "Are you ready to meet the Crown Prince?"
If the Crown Prince is ready to meet us, I think this is a little early, but we're probably ready to go.
He nods. "Then let me bring you to the prince." And he turns around and the game will end there.
Nice.
In the next adventure, we will meet with the crowned prince and see what he says, and maybe see what else you guys find in the city of Caliphas, and see what other notable people or not notable people happen to be in the town. With that being said, we are going to raid on out. I know where I am going to go because I mentioned to these guys where I was going to go. I know you guys have seen me playing some Fortnite as of late, and I know that many of you know that I've was convinced to play it by a multitude of people that stream, whether it be Jenny B, or whether it be the Black Collar Collective or Lady of Gold. So with that being said, we're going to raid on over to Dakabera and the Black Collar community, who is currently streaming and playing Fortnite. And we're going to go over there and join them on that, show them some support. Of course, here is the raid, copy and paste. If you are a sub, you can use one. If you're not a sub, you can use the other. Of course, as I always say, you don't have to use my raid emotes. Just say something when you go in there. Use yours, use theirs, use whoever, and come say hi as we raid our good friend, the one and only Dakabera. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Matt and Bryan, for joining me. I am having a blast, again, telling this game and game mastering. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Hopefully everybody watching had a good time. We'll be back tomorrow with some... actually, we're going to be doing something new tomorrow. We're going to be doing kind of a work-along where you can track... If you have projects, you can come in and be like, hey, this is what I'm working on. And then you can work on it with me. We can help each other be accountable on our tasks, our chores, our projects, our whatever, as I work on projects with you. It's a work-along stream tomorrow, so come and just hang out and chill. We'll have music playing and just vibing in the backgrounds while we do stuff. So come and join us for that. Tangia Dungeons will be active and all of those things as well. I may even put up words on stream for people who want to do that. So thank you guys so much for being here. Take care, have a good night, and we will see you down the road.
Bye.